towards your allegiances, being a Chicago Bears fan, but you can respect your opponents. You can respect your division rivals, and I do. I believe in golf. But a new life, Jeff Lawrence. Make sure that both of you guys are following. It is great to have you here. Hope to see you guys around here more often. And like I said, we're just getting started. About 2 more hours or so that we're going to be on here, maybe even three. Renato Morales, 49ers are Super Bowl contenders. That's why we've got him in that locks category. Would you say, though, Renato, what's going on, J-Mo, bro? Panthers fan, what's up? We've still got them in that category. Moved Raiders. we did. We did move the Raiders back down a little bit. But Renato, if you haven't already, make sure that you're following. Great to see you here. Don't know if I've seen you here, Renato Morales. Great to see you off topic. We're just getting started. You haven't missed much. Jags and contenders make okay, Tenzer. So it's Tensner. Jags contenders. I've mentioned a statistic from a season ago that they have been or were the best rushing. Prince Omar, great to see you. The best rushing defense in football. Is Eric Armstead going to retain that level? And we're expecting Trayvon Walker to turn into. I'm looking for a breakout from Trayvon. He's been awesome, but taking a next step, if you will, to being one of the premier edge players in football. Maybe Giants over Cowboys. JMO, I've had a lot of optimistic talk around the Giants, and we've praised them for the moves that they made this offseason, and I absolutely agree that they're gonna be very strong. What's up, Sertan Glazer? I just can't put them ahead of Dallas right now. We've seen a full body of work from Dak Prescott. We know what that receiving core is, and but if you will, New York next year has a great shot to even make the postseason if they improve defensively. New life. What do we got? As a Packer fan, that does worry me, even though I don't think our defense is the worst. um, even though I think you think your defense is the worst, New Life? Am I reading that correctly? You think that you guys don't have a good D? I removed Denver, put the Bills there, Bobby. Yeah, we've been considering putting Buffalo into that category. At the very least, with Josh Allen, you have a faith, a confidence that you're at least going to get to the playoffs every single year and be one of the top 10 teams in football as long as he's healthy. And there's no reason to believe that he won't be, Bobby. But Bobby, make sure that you're following Jeff Lawrence. If you're still in here, make sure you're following Squeeze Bands Edits. Eagles are going to the playoffs. I agree with you, Squeeze Bands Edits. Why wouldn't they? They've retained still their identity, which is Saquon in a tough defensive front led by Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter. Squeeze Bands, are you an Eagles fan? I'm curious about your allegiance. No, sorry. Read my comments above it. Okay, I got you. From Kai, Bengals should easily be in contenders. Their season was only so bad because of Joe being out. Kai, I agree with you on the defense getting better. And I've said this a million times the past 2 months. With a healthy Joe Burrow, they are a Super Bowl contender. And I have reason to believe that the run game will be better, that their identity is going to be shifted towards protecting Joe, that he doesn't have to throw the ball 40 plus times a game. Like that's been their identity the last few seasons. But Kai, make sure that you are following. Thank you for being here on a Saturday afternoon. There's many other places that you could be, so I appreciate you being in the chat, Kai. Thank you. Z-Boy, I asked before why you had the Packers third in the division. Now you put the Lions from 1 to 3. Why? Why did I don't know if I'm reading that entirely correctly. So you're asking me why I dropped the Lions behind the Packers, even with the easier schedule, Z-Boy? I've been adjusting this essentially every couple of days. It's been based off of you guys. The sentiment the last week or so where I had the Lions above Green Bay was a little hot, on the side of me with criticism. And look, it's your guys' show. And I'm going to change things depending on y'all. Obviously, I have my set of beliefs on where these teams are. But who am I going to be to get thousands of comments over the next couple of weeks and not to take feedback, Z-Boys? So right now, the belief is I've heard a lot more positives on Green Bay. And we're going to see how how that rolls. Maybe next week we've got the Lions above them a little bit. I still believe the Lions are going to win that division, honestly, Z boy. But you guys have had an effect, and it's changed the rankings a little bit. And make sure that you're following Z boy. Thank you for being in here, Dan R from AZ. Cardinals have the toughest schedule. Dan R. I'd imagine you're a Cardinals fan, and or do you still have faith in Marvin Harrison Jr.? Would be my question to you, Dan R. Do you still have belief he can be the guy that was supposed to be one of the best in football as like a fourth-year player? Or are you a little bit? You'd probably be a little bit down on him, right? And based on that schedule, there's a concern whether he's going to materialize into the guy that he was supposed to be when you drafted. From Josiah Boersma, are you saying they are based on my comments about the Lions winning the division? I was curious about that one. I think this year is the year to prove what he is. It's an excellent point. Why are the Texans locked for the playoffs? Big Brad, we've talked about that defense, and for me, from my perspective, so you understand from my lens, my eyes, what they tell me, I grew up as a diehard Chicago Bears fan. I'm a diehard Buckeyes fan. And defensive football is good enough to carry you so far, not necessarily to win the title. There's been incredible defenses that get knocked out in the first round of the playoffs. The Texans have a good enough defense to win a Super Bowl. The question about Houston is, are they good enough? Is Stroud specifically good enough to get them to that level? But they're defensively good enough to get them at least to the postseason. But Dan R. from Arizona, Big Brad 6'9", 420. Make sure that you are following Owen. His weapons are always hurt. It's a good point. I appreciate you, Owen. If you haven't already, make sure that you're following Owen. Bear down. There you go, Big Brad. There you go. It's exactly right. We're fired up about the Bears next. Are you a Bear fan, Big Brad? Lincoln, appreciate the follow. Thank you, Big Brad. Thanks for following. Great to have you guys here. Look, it's a Saturday. I understand there's other things that, heck yeah. Let's go. Owen, thanks for the follow. There's a lot of other places that you could be. This is the community I'm fired up about. I've got people here. It's still May, and we're going to be talking football, excited. We're getting one day closer towards the season every day, folks, and we've been going live every single day, building this community out. So thank you so much for being here, talking football. Still 3 months until the season. I can't wait for this thing to pop off. Let's see, from YouTube, A from James Bro, the Chicago slamming HEIT. Thank you, moderators on YouTube, for not muting that comment. I appreciate you guys letting him say his piece. Shouldn't even be listed. Are you a Bear? Are you a Packer fan? Slamming shite. Wild card at best. From Wondering Twins, yes, sir. I'm not going to lie. The Bucks need to do better. Blessed Fishing, it's exactly right. They absolutely need to be better. Aeon Tribe, thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate you. Go Giants from Richard. How excited are you about the Giants from a scale of 1 to 100, Richard? Is probably at a 90. When was the last time you felt this good about the direction of New York with Harbaugh? You know that he's a Super Bowl champion head coach. There's been a standard there in Baltimore for the last decade, and Eric DeCosta has been the premier GM, you could argue, up there with Howie Roseman, up there with Schneider, at the top of the ranks for the way that they recruit and bring guys into the building and have set the standard, if you will, for a long time. Hey, slamming Bears beat you 2 times last year, or what? Why you? I'm not sad at all about the Bears. This is as high as I've ever been on them. High as a kite on the Chicago Bears. High on life on them. For my lifetime, it's been a lifetime of misery up until Caleb Williams. Not you, host. Okay. Thank you, D. Maynard, for letting me know. The Raiders' disrespect is crazy. Chatter slamming 10-7 year from the Raiders. I've talked about it, though, with Vegas. F the Bears. Hold on, I'll get to the Raiders in a second. F the Bears, go Lions from Wolverine. What is your expectation from Bryce Underwood? I'd imagine you're a Wolverine fan and Lions. And Wolverine, even as a Bears fan, I've talked with a lot of praise. I know I've got them ranked in this specific ranking behind Green Bay and Chicago, but I've got the Lions winning the division. The additions that they've made in solidifying the O-line for Goff with protection opposite of Sewell. You've got Blake Miller now to come in and start. So Wolverine, make sure you are following. How about them Dallas Cowboys from Cedric Reyes, good to see you in here. Dalen, you got to score to win. You cannot ever win a football game if you only score 0 points. It is true. The best you could ever do is tie. It may be obvious, but that's been the opinion of why sometimes you just go offense, build around your quarterback. It goes protection and then playmaker in a lot of GM's eyes. And sometimes you go with that position. That's why offensive tackle, wide receiver have been the two premier places to add. And then, of course, edge rusher. That's going to be the debate, folks, in the 2027 NFL draft is where do you go? If you've got your quarterback position solidified, but you're a team that doesn't do well next year, do you go offensive tackle? Do you go wide receiver weapon? What if you need a tackle and a wide receiver? What if you're the Raiders in next year's draft and you go 5-12? It's not a great year for you. And I was talking about how we're coming back to the Raiders in the conversation. Do you guys go get a Cam Coleman, a Jeremiah Smith? Probably would go Smith if you're in that position, but would you go lower if you are at 6? Do you go Seaton? Do you go edge defender opposite of Crosby? It's a fascinating question to ask yourself. He's saying pretty much any of them except Vikes could make it, none specifically. Yes, the NFC North, that's exactly what I'm saying. What's up, J-Mo, bro? Good to see you back. I am saying I do not believe in Minnesota. Now, there could be Vikings fans. There could be people that are like, what? Brian Flores in that defense. They've got Jefferson. They've been unreal with Jefferson having good quarterback play. What if Kyler comes in there and he can spam the football downfield like the camping and cod and have a lot of success? I just have doubts. I don't trust Kyler. I didn't trust him coming out of Oklahoma, and he has not won a playoff game. Didn't win one with the Arizona Cardinals. From Beale Street, Jeff, the Chicago Bears will win the NFC North again, back-to-back. Wow, what? Beale Street, Jeff, even as a Bear. So the last time the Bears won the NFC North back-to-back, would have that been 2005 and 6? Because they didn't make the playoffs in 7, 8, 9. Did they win it in 2005? I think they did, right? When they got, was that the year they got beat by Carolina? Was that the Steve Smith crazy playoff performance that year? Stop arguing. It's a live stream. Y'all can argue in football. No, Daz the dude. This is what we're doing. This is the off season. We're gonna argue now. Maybe you're not of the opinion, but it's go time. But this community of fans love this sport so much. That is 365 24/7. I could come on here at 2 a.m. People are going to be debating. I can come on here on a Saturday in May, 3 months before we even see a game, 93 days, and people are still going to give their feedback, and they're going to defend their team. The NFC stomps the AFC bread. The better quarterbacks in the AFC, the better rosters in the NFC, bread. That's how it's rolled. Bears will win the Super Bowl from Nice. I think it is with as good a future, as optimistic as anyone in the league. That includes the Bills and Josh Allen. That includes the Rams, even with Stafford and how good they are right now. Chicago's hope and optimism is at a high. It's peaking since it's been in the last few decades. Best quarterback by far they've ever had. So let's see. H_A. I think the Colts bring back to save their season. I actually think the Colts are in not a terrible spot. Look, if Daniel Jones is the guy, he does really well this year. Great. And he's back to your form. You're going to be a contender. And that's why I've been a little bit of that in-between range with Indianapolis, if you will, because I can't tell you right now Daniel Jones is going to be back healthy. He's going to retain that form he was because I haven't seen him get hit. I haven't seen him move around. But if he is that guy, great. If he's not, the 2027 NFL draft, that's as deep as we've seen at quarterback. Maybe they can go get a quarterback in 27 if Jones isn't great next year. H_A, make sure you're following. Thank you for being in here. Nick, we do have the Patriots high, but got to understand, is Drake May going to be as good statistically as last year? Maybe not. But if they add A.J. Brown, we're looking at a team that just got really dangerous. They bring in Caleb Lomu to solidify the O-line. They could be a better team. And next year, with a tougher schedule, they could be a better team and have a worse record. Nick, make sure that you're following. What do we got here? 2_nice now. Guys, if you haven't followed on TikTok, make sure you do so on YouTube. Everybody in here, if you have not subscribed, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much for everyone here in the chat. I apologize to you guys if I haven't gotten to your question. If there's a little bit of patience that you have, I'm going to get to everyone. We're going to address everyone's questions. It's just going to take time. There's a lot of comments coming in here right now. From KJ, do I think the Texans could win the Super Bowl next year? Without a doubt, KJ. I've got them going to the Super Bowl. That's my prediction currently. I've got Will Anderson Jr. winning Defensive Player of the Year. I know that's chalk because he came number 2 in voting a year ago, but we're fired up about what they are going to be. From Jim Carney, Baker Mayfield MVP season coming in. He's got the talent to do it and the weapons. Thank you for the heart me. I appreciate you. Dylan Scott, you are now the number 22 fan in the fan club. I don't have a team. I just like watching good football, Grande. You're a lot like me. Over the years, even as a diehard fan of, let's say, the Bears in Ohio State, at the end of the day, if they aren't good teams, there's a point where I would almost rather just suck and have a chance to be better than actually Ohio State hasn't sucked in a generation. But if you know what I mean, I want to see good football. I want to see it look right. And earlier in the year last year, it didn't look right. Chicago was not good on their opening drives for much of the season, and winning in a close fashion. I want to see things change, and I want to see a higher quality of good football. So I'm fully with you. You share my same sentiment with that. Jonathan Pfeiffer. What's up, Jonathan 11? Do you think that the Steelers will be the top of their division? Personally, I don't think so, Jonathan. I've got the Ravens winning the division. And again, I talked about that's chalk. The younger generations use that phrase. And so if there's younger people in here, I'm trying to appeal to that demographic. My main demographic is, I believe, like 35 and older. So to my 35 and olders, what's up? To my 35 and youngers, also what's popping on this Saturday. Thanks for being in here. If you haven't followed, make sure you do folks. But Jonathan, Pittsburgh truly may have the highest ceiling of, the highest floor of anybody, excuse me, but a lower ceiling than Baltimore and the Bengals, right? And that's because Burrow and Lamar at their ceiling are two of the best 3 quarterbacks in football. I love the list. I'd even put Super Bowl or bust for the Bills. Brad, to be honest with you, and that's a great point, Brad, I think I'm going to make a move and put Buffalo up there. They were in that divisional round with Josh Allen every year when he's healthy. He's going to rush for 13 touchdowns. He's going to throw 35 touchdowns, and they're going to be a competitor. He's that good. They add DJ Moore now. And thank you for the love. I appreciate you, Brad. And Brad, make sure that you're following. Thank you so much. Grayson Hanson, finally someone that knows ball. Thank you, Grayson. Make sure that you're following my guy. Great to have you in here. Peyton, the Panthers shall win it all, and then the Hornets win for the Carolina trifecta. Yeah, the Hurricanes look pretty dang dominant, Peyton. I got to say, they're looking good right now. I haven't watched a single second of the hockey. Got to tell you, folks, this is a pure football show. But I have gone to google.com, typed in NHL, and seen the progress of Carolina. It is very impressive. Thank you so much for the gift, Charlie. Thank you. Peyton, make sure that you are following. I appreciate you being in here. Great to see you. Marshall Witt, thanks for the follow, man. Jonathan Pfeiffer, but the Steelers beat the Ravens 2 times. It is true. You're not wrong. We are going to assume, and I know that assumptions are very dangerous, but Zion Young at edge and Lamar Jackson healthy for the entirety of the year. If you recall, he was banged up from the beginning of last year. They started 1-5. Do we think Baltimore's going to start 1-5? It could happen, Jonathan. I'm not going to say that's impossible. The new young coach in Minter, maybe it doesn't start as hot as they would like, but I still am going to stand by Baltimore. The statistic I've brought up has been their rushing success consistently over the last 8 years. Baltimore being a top 3 rushing defense 8 years in a row. If you want to go fact check me on that, folks, I've said it 100 times. If my followers that have been here know I've said that a lot. And to the new people, go check out that stat. It's actually a fun one. But Jonathan, make sure that you're following my guy. Thank you for your consistent feedback here in the chat. And I've always loved the AFC North. As an NFC North fan, it's one of those divisions I see a lot of similarities in. The Rams should be the only Super Bowl, or let's, okay. The Seahawks and Broncos have bright futures. The Rams don't, Avery. So, Avery, it's a really good point because of the sentiment of Stafford. Like, he's got 1 year or two left. This window could be closing. It could take a couple of years of Ty Simpson getting reps before they get back to where they are right now as a true Super Bowl contender. But Denver's got a window. That roster is ready to roll. They got a rookie quarterback contract in for Seattle. Like, you're seeing Jackson Smith and Jigba now get paid, Avery. You're seeing guys like Leonard Williams, Devin Witherspoon, all these contracts start to compile. You're paying Darnold, and you couldn't pay a running back like Walker. Who's the next guy that you can't pay that comes up on that contract? So I understand your point, but Seattle is facing a same dilemma as teams that have come down to this, like the Packers paying guys, and they have to see guys walk, right? Like they lose their linebacker, Quay Walker, or an offensive tackle, or Buffalo not able to retain everything. Philadelphia is a prime example of somebody that had younger players, incredible drafting, but they wind up leaving because you can't afford to pay them because it's a champagne problem. You draft really well, but you can't pay everybody, Avery. So that's why I've got them. That window could be closing a lot like Detroit, honestly. Their window's still open, but as you got to pay the Amon Ra's, the Jahmyr Gibbs, the Jack Campbells, the Kirby Josephs, the Brian Branches, like you just can't retain all of that talent. But Avery, make sure you're following. Uh, I appreciate your feedback. Newport is in the chat, folks. What's up, Newport? Good to see you in here. The Rams have a scary secondary, Chris. The Rams have a scary everything now going into next season. Steelers are like the guy that always gets invited to the party, and it's impressive. A lot of people would rather be in the Steelers position. Maybe 10 teams in football would love to be in the Steelers position and stay there where you're always at the party, but you just don't quite get to be the life of the party, where you're just in that background area. You're invited. Yeah, I like that analogy a little bit. Liam, good to see you back. Drake May 67. What's up? Patriots have a scary. I mean, you got a top 5 corner in the league. Start there, and that's the. I think I've got no issues starting with Christian Gonzalez as my number 1 corner. Have you seen AFL football? No, I haven't. God Deke one? I haven't seen AFL, Australia. I just follow college and the NFL, to be honest with you. I haven't seen, honestly, much CFL or other of the. I haven't watched much UFL either. Stasio, in my opinion, he didn't even have MVP stats. I think everyone can agree LA versus Seahawks game in the NFC Championship was the real Super Bowl. Yep, we all thought that when it happened, rookie. Because both of them would have destroyed the Patriots. Yeah, that's why we wanted the Denver possible matchup. We just saw that New England, and they gave up the most sacks in the history of the NFL playoffs. I believe it was 22, folks. If that's the number, 21 or 22 sacks in 4 games, that was the total that it wound up being. From Stacio, if they don't make a Super Bowl this year, I'm coming back to you, Sertan. Commanders, Antonio Williams joins the fight there to add to that receiving corps. Panthers contenders, really? Look, I don't think that they're getting as much credit for their defense. I've said it so many times. I really believe they would have beat the Rams if J.C. Horn was on that field for the final possession. He got banged up, wasn't on the field, and the Rams were able to score and take the lead, and that was that. But then the Steelers leave the party wasted. They leave the party wasted, and they wind up sending a text to somebody that winds up coming back to bite them the next day, leaving a bad taste in everybody's mouth that was at the party, and they wind up hurting other people that weren't even there, sending texts that they shouldn't have sent. HA. That's exactly what they have been. Saints win the South this year. I like that take. Can't lie. I actually really like that take. Again, this is the worst division in football, Big Rich. We've talked about it very often here. But what does that go against the Saints? They've had it. They don't care it's the worst division in football. We're going to play who we play, right? It's like the Big Ten compared to the SEC. They're like, Big Ten's like, we play who we play. You guys can go kill each other. We're still going to get to the playoff. Doesn't matter who we've played. So, Big Rich, I like that take. It's all up to Tyler Shuck, though. And what's fun about the Saints, though, if you're a Saints fan, Big Rich, is we're going to know. Either Tyler Shuck isn't the guy, and we badly underperformed expectations, and we go 6-11, All right, he's not the guy. It's disappointing, but the 2027 NFL draft, Big Rich, let's go take a kid and bring him into this building. And if we do have success, Chuck wins the division. He's the guy. Unbelievable. We know that we've got our answer. So that's why I have the Saints as a win-win team next year, Big Rich. I don't know if you'd agree with that. But, Johnny, thank you for the heart me. Thank you so much. But that's where I'm at on the Saints. Like, let's say Tyler looks like he's going to be the guy. Hopefully he is. I hope he is the guy. But if he's not, there's worse things that could happen than getting to take Mayava, Lenore Sellers, Dante Moore, and Arch Manning, whoever that guy is, next year. There's worse places to be. That's been my opinion on the Raiders, on somebody like the Cleveland Browns. Is let's see if we've got the quarterback. Wilk Madelt, you moved up the Panthers, my boy. Thank you, my man, for being back here. And Wilk, make sure that you're following. Thank you so much. And we've got Timeless back in the chat. Isn't Tyler like 50, heading into his second year? I think he's older than me. I'm 25, by the way. I think Tyler's 25, 26, something like that. The live is frozen for you. The connection might be a little bit unstable. I apologize about that, folks. If the connectivity isn't quite where it needs to be. From rookie, they have too good of wide receiver room to not be. Yeah, they certainly added talent in that room. Guys on TikTok, are you able to hear me all right? Is the connection fine? Or on YouTube, are you guys having any issue with hearing me? Just let me know. Some feedback here. I see that some people are not hearing me, but I do see the comments coming in. Bengals are winning it's all this year from Kevin. If Joe Burrow's healthy, I've continued to say it, that they're going to have a great shot. Emma, what's going on? Good to see you in here. John, thank you for sharing the live. Matthias Brown, hot take. The Cardinals will not make possible. Oh, maybe. Could be a Wi-Fi. I don't know. Thank you for sharing the line, John. I appreciate that. Guys on YouTube, can you hear me fine? Do you play Blitz ball? Do you play ball blitz? Is that the question? Do you play Blitz ball? I'm not exactly sure what the what the question is there. Are we having issues with connectivity, folks? Just let me know in the chat. FFX, baby, yes, of what we've got. No, I'm connected to the Wi-Fi fine. It is a game. Oh, I don't know the game, to be honest with you. I don't know that game. Good to have you back, Daz the dude. What's up? Good to see you. Yeah, everybody on YouTube, we're having issues right now with connectivity on TikTok, but are you guys on YouTube able to hear me okay? Just put it in the chat, thumbs up or everything. Maybe I gotta restart the live on TikTok. Let's do that right now. Okay, so you can hear me okay. We're just gonna restart on TikTok then. With what is happening. Because I did connect to the Wi-Fi. So it's like waffle ball. This is power rankings, inaccurate, linear. It's going to be based on opinion, right? So everyone's going to have a different take on things. So if you don't like power rankings, well, we're going to have different sets of rankings throughout the year, throughout this offseason. So hopefully over time you come to realize that this is more so just an open conversation about the game instead of just like only rankings. The people that have been in here for a while know that, okay, the premise is rankings, but more so it's just an outline, a background to start the conversation about the game. Taisha, what's up? Good to see you back here. Jordan, I don't know if the Bills are higher than the others in playoff locks. They should be a little toward the bottom of that tier. Yeah, I see what you mean. Drake May, thank you for being back. Is the connection better, Drake May 67? Let me know if you're hearing the audio or everything is better. I think Baker Mayfield window is closing on a Super Bowl 2. Okay. Thank you, Taisha. I appreciate the love. It's better. Okay. And if it's not Drake May, just put it in the chat a couple of times. Like, say restart the live. Like, I can't hear you. It's frozen. If it continues to pop up as an issue, just let me know. Sometimes it's a matter of restarting a couple of times. Wish it weren't that way, but sometimes that's how connectivity rolls. I'm still not great at this. Bears playoff lock for sure. From Southside 1988. Is that the year that you were born? Did you just miss out on the Chicago Bears Super Bowl? I thought it was on my end because you kept freezing, but you're clear. Okay. Good to know. Good to know. And the reason the Bills are currently up there, folks, is there was a donation made to get the Broncos up into that cat 3 years late for it. So if you're wondering about the Denver Broncos, there was a little bit of a bribery situation and why they went there, and then they've stuck. There hasn't been a lot of negativity through the comments, the thousands of comments the last couple of days having the Broncos there. So if you're looking at potentially putting your team higher, it is possible they may get up there on their own, but that was through a donation to answer your question. Josh will never win the Super Bowl. He gets too nervous. I don't know what it is, man. He's like, if you've got the money, like he's got the girl too. Like you, it's just a matter of winning. It's kind of like Justin Herbert. What are you nervous about in those big moments? Maybe it's just he cares so much and it means so much to him that he gets a bit nervous. But it's true. Chargers going all the way from 2017. I haven't seen that name before. I did see Caleb hit Rome for a 60. I don't. That's ridiculous. People were saying, it was like 40. Like, are you doubting Caleb's arm? Are you saying that no, he can't throw the football that far on the run? It reminds me of Mahomes back in the older Maddens where like he had bazooka and he could just be a full running on to his right and just launching that thing like 75 yards is what that reminded me of. So he literally has a video game kind of arm. What do we got here? Colts have a shot. They were really good before injuries. From Lachlan. Is it Lachlan? Lachlan, I think. They were good before injuries. Yep. Ted Bundy 17. If you haven't followed, make sure you do so. Danny just can't wait. Switch Jags and Texans, and the list is perfect. All right, so you're very high on Jacksonville with good reason. They had a great run defense last year. Are you concerned about Lloyd and why am I forgetting the running back? Achan. I was thinking Achan. I was like, that's not right, but he does go by Achan. ETN is I've called him hundreds of times. So has everybody. And then he goes on to score. And a lot of that is Chris Fowler was calling him ETN in those college broadcasts. He wasn't saying Achan, and then it stems down from Chris Fowler. It's like he was just saying it wrong for whatever reason for those primetime games on ESPN. So everybody started saying it wrong too. Switch Falcons and Panthers, huh? Okay, so you're higher on Atlanta with good reason. As much talent as anybody, Xavier Watts looks to be one of the steals of that 2025 NFL draft. So to your point, there should be a lot of positivity for him. But Jates Reloaded, make sure you're following. Let's see who's in here right now. Panthers, quote, contenders. Do you like it? Hey, no, there's the only one Achan. Yeah, we were talking about Devon. I mean, that guy's talented. Is he a top 5 fantasy back in football? I've been considering it because of the volume he gets, and he's such a good pass catcher, really good with his hands and route runner, that maybe he should get the credit to be in that category next year. I'm not quite decided, though, yet on that. Thank you for the follow, Jace Reloaded. Cody, Bengals at least playoffs with their new defense. Is DJ Turner a top 10 corner in the NFL, folks? He played like it last year. What did he have? 18 passes defended and a top 5 easy schedule. Cody, I agree with you. It's just half of the seasons Burrow's been not healthy, and I've said it 100 times. I'm going to say it 100 times more, Cody. If he's healthy, yes, this team without a doubt is a contender. I agree with you. Make sure that you're following Cody. Matthew Babin, can you explain the see it to believe it category? That's a great question. So see it to believe it is teams that have made improvements. Maybe you're the Jets and you've got a really good edge rusher now. Maybe you're Atlanta with talent all around you, but you've got a question at quarterback. Maybe you're the Tennessee Titans and you've added a really talented number 1 wide receiver a couple of very good defensive players, free agency acquisitions. But I got to see what it is on the field before I truly think that you could be a team to potentially make the postseason next year. That's what the category is, Matthew. If that explains it for you, let me know if you need further explanation. But make sure you are following Matthew. Thank you for the question. Appreciate the love. You like the list. I'm glad to hear it, Matthew. Get to baked. Raiders winning the Super Bowl this year. Look, they added Cam Coleman and Jeremiah Smith. I don't see why they can't be contending for it all in 2027. Get too baked. Matthew, thank you for following. Thank you for supporting the live. And we're just getting started here, folks. We've only been on here for 30 minutes. There's good reason to believe that we should be here for another 2 hours, maybe a bit more than that if things are going well. As a Patriots fan, I don't see a Super Bowl appearance this year. Now, people have said there's extreme regression coming for New England. I don't fully see it. Would you rather have Mendoza or Dart? Kevin with a great question. I would rather be in Jackson Dart's position with Harbaugh, with the pieces that are there in New York, than be also in that division. It's more compressed towards the middle here, where you don't have Herbert and Mahomes and now the Broncos here. I would rather be in Dart's position. I know that that's not answering your question, Kevin. Who would I rather have? Man, I had them pretty similarly rated coming out of college. Dart offers more mobility. Mendoza's a little bit bigger. I would go Mendoza personally, but they're very close. Mendoza offers you a bit more in the sense of what he can do purely from a pocket presence. Jackson Dart's mobility and him moving around gets you there. But arm talent-wise, I think they're pretty similar, Kevin. That's a great question. And Kevin, make sure you're following. Thank you for being in the live. Jay Merch. Steelers start stairway to 7. Trust Jay Merch. I got you. Make sure you're following Jay Merch. Thank you for being in here. Reese. Panthers are not contenders. Is it because of Bryce Young or some other reason? I don't think you doubt their defense, though, Reese. Like, you must have some respect for them. Julian, thank you for following. Giants, not the same level as the Saints. Okay, I could see it. And Kevin, thank you for following. The Giants. So are you saying you'd rather have Tyler Shuck than Jackson Dart? And to your point, the Giants' run defense was bad even with Dexter Lawrence. So that's it is an interesting thought. I don't know what you mean, Taisha. Where would that have been? Why do you feel the Ravens aren't playoff locks? It is the process of losing your head coach. There's been a consistency. There's been a standard there for quite some time. Ceiling-wise, they're in the top 5. Like, if they put it together, there's very few teams that can play better football than Baltimore when they're healthy and they're fully roaming. I like Zion Young a lot. They had a great draft, added Jacoby Lane, added Elijah Surratt. But to your question, to specifically answer it, bringing in a new coach and seeing that integration, are they immediately going to be a team? They're going to guarantee me? You're going to bet your house on making the playoffs? No. Whereas, like, I know how good that Texans defense is next year. I know San Francisco, they get guys back, and they made the playoffs last year that they can get back. Buffalo with Josh Allen. So that's why I've got some of those teams. But Baltimore is right there. Like, the first 2 weeks, they look like they typically do. They're going to be in that category immediately and be up with a tier. Kevin, thank you for the follow. Jace Clifton, what do you think about Packers? I'm saying it right, Jace. Look, as a diehard Chicago Bears fan, I got to shoot you straight. You know, there's no bias here when I look at these rankings. I had the Lions as the team that I predicted to win the division. I think that Jordan Love's a good quarterback, and I believe that Matthew Golden can take that leap. A lot of people are trashing on Green Bay, saying Luther Burden's better already. I've been settling down some of that hype right now on Burden because Odunze could get a lot more volume next year to prevent Luther from taking that leap. And honestly, that's what you should see. But Green Bay, if they get Micah back healthy, you get Tucker Kraft on the field, Devontae Weiss, the same guy. For about 10 minutes there, they were the best team in football. I was already typing them in as my Super Bowl favorites when they were up by 9 on Denver before Micah got hurt, before Watson got hurt on that interception by Pat Surtain. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. K Jesus, let's get you in here. What's going on? Can you hear me?
What's up?
Yeah, let me know what you're thinking. Sugar babe, thank you for following. I'll give you 30 seconds. What do you think about the list?
And this is Caleb, by the way.
Good to see you.
I feel like you changed the list.
A little bit. I got the Panthers in contenders.
I feel like Texans should be moved down. I feel like that's not really a good spot for Texans.
So you got questions about Stroud currently? I buy it. But
Yeah.
I just love their defense. And anything else? I'd hire you as an analyst before Skip Bayless. Thank you for the love, Southside. I appreciate that. Anything else? And thank you for the rose. Thank you for the chili, the heart me. I appreciate you.
You're welcome. That's it.
That's it. It's all right. There we go. Thank you for giving your feedback here. Let me know if there's anything else you want to chat about. Thank you for coming on. All right, guys. There is Caleb saying that he believes the Houston Texans should be moved down. Jeremiah, thank you for the follow. Mizusaki. Mizusaki? I think it would be Mizusaki. Raiders have a better team overall than the Saints, by the way. It's close to me. And to your point, maybe they made more improvements right now. But the thing is, Mizusaki, I put a lot of weight into wide receiver. There's probably some bias there. I'm going to be aware of that. When I was in college and working with my football program, going into their meetings and being a part of them, I was a defensive background for where I grew up. I was a Big Ten fan, NFC North football. Thank you for the donut, David. I appreciate you. I was in the wide receiver room. I looked at myself in the mirror and I said, I know more about defensive football. That's where I'm a strength. And so when I look at that experience and being in the room and being around wide receivers and the impact they can have on a quarterback, I look at the Saints wide receiver room and I say that's superior. And I'm going to put them a tier maybe a little bit higher than what the Raiders are, simply because they've got those weapons beyond what the Raiders do. I look at that roster, it's pretty similarly, but wide receiver is something that sticks out a lot to me, Mizusaki. And look, I'm aware of that bias innately there of what I put them in tier over, but thank you for the statement. Mizusaki, make sure you are following. Raiders have arguably the best tight. I think Bowers is the best tight end in football. If I could take anybody, I'd take Brock Bowers. He was the best college football tight end in history. If he played one more season at Georgia, he would have broken every single receiving record if he was in there. What do we got? Kai Velociraptor, is that the name? Are you in here? And thank you for the follow. I appreciate it, Ben. Thank you, David Campbell. Thank you for the follow. Cooper, Bucks got to go up. Go up to loss in the wild card round. Is that where you'd put them? Where do you think, Tampa Bay? Look, I've talked about it and I've addressed it. There's been a lot of NFC South chatter today. I like it. We've been bouncing around. Yesterday was probably a lot of AFC West conversation on Denver being up that really high. Thank you for that, Sir Tang Glazer. I'm not saying I was unhappy about it. I love talking about that division. And in person, actually, I met someone that watches a little bit of the show, and they were asking me all about the Chargers, and I only had positive things to say, like Herbert's winning MVP. I may have gotten him maybe a little bit more hyped than need be, but still, I got to talk positively about who I feel about, right? But Cooper, thank you for your statement there. Make sure you're following, Cooper. Great to see you in here. Ben Jackson, thank you for the follow. And Dang FB6, thank you for the follow. Ben, Bengals are playoff locks. Hold on, Ben. The playoff locks category is specifically for teams. Unless there is an injury to starting quarterback, you fully believe that we're going to get to the postseason. And I give you pushback because we saw Joe Burrow play a full season healthy and not make the playoffs 2 years ago, right, Ben? So that's why I don't have them in that category as of right now. New England, we know what they'll be with a healthy Dart. With Josh Allen, they've made 6 straight divisional rounds. With Houston, that defense is that good. So, David, thank you very much for the gift. That's where we're at right now, Ben. But I fully agree with you. Thank you for the boxing gloves, David. Ben, I hope that you actually, Ben, if you disagree with that, let me know. It's fine to disagree. If you got a different opinion, throw it in the chat. Let's have a conversation. But that's why I've got them lower in these tier right now. Bucks need to go up from David. I love their draft in this. I think Mike Evans is going to be a bigger loss. than maybe it's been all it's talked about in Tampa. I live in Los Angeles, so I haven't heard all of the radio chattering. My question to you is: do you believe Abuka's going to step in and be a true number one, 1,100 yard? Mike Evans was not all that, man. I promise. Godwin will step up. Okay, I got you. I just love consistency. Mike Evans, what was it, 1,000 yards in a row for 11 straight years. He's one of the tops. I think he's top 30 all time in touchdowns and yards. He was an unbelievable talent. So, but again, older in his career, and the first time he ever had a significant injury. So to your point, maybe he did lose a little bit. Mike Evans, a loss. Yeah, losing him, I would say. Mike Evans was their safety blanket for the past 10 years when he was healthy. It's exactly right. You could even say past 11 because Mike Evans tied Jerry Rice for the most consecutive years with over 1,000 yards receiving. What do we got? Texans upgraded the offensive line, got better. Texans to the Super Bowl. James, you and I would have a fun time grabbing a beer, my guy. Unless you're too young for that. If you're younger than 21, forgot I said anything, guys. If you're under 21, please don't drink before you're that age. But James, look, I have a lot of faith in the Houston Texans. They're going to be really good next year. I've got Will Anderson Jr. DPOY. I'm going to shout it from the rooftops, James. I got you. Make sure you're following James. You don't got to explain a single thing to me about the Houston Texans. I'm fired up about them. Corbin Haskell. Bears just went to the conference. They went to the divisional round, Corbin. The divisional round of the playoffs, which is, I guess, the conference semifinals. They did not. So they're not playoff locks because the defensive line's still a question. Secondary wasn't very good last year. Although you're getting back, you would think Gordon and Johnson healthy. You've got a new player in Bryant, and Thieneman's a rookie. A lot of questions on defense. I think they'll be better. But then you're expecting a ascension of Caleb Williams. He's got to play better next year, and you're expecting him to. Well, that's why I don't have them as a playoff lock, even as a Chicago Bears fan. But Corbin, make sure that you are following. James, appreciate the follow. Jamari, who do you think would win? I think the Texans would win, Jamari. I got to shoot you straight. That Houston defense, if they had a rematch, it's not in the snow, and you put them on a neutral field. But I just feel like the Houston Texans would win that game if they played again going into next year. The Patriots got him, and CJ Stroud played terribly. I'm not making any excuses. YBG, Fez, Zap, Tude, thank you for following. Mike Evans just dropped too many passes for me recently, the last couple of years there, David. To me, one of the plays of his career, I know they lost the game, but is that what tied the game? Or no, they were down 14 against the Rams with like 4 minutes left. It felt out of reach. Bombed Jalen Ramsey on the outside. Mike Evans, that is one of the all-time plays. Unfortunately for them, obviously, you saw, well, the Rams fumbled it and they scored again, but then the Cooper Kupp play. I'm sorry if I'm revisiting bad memories for you. The divisional round game, like Bucks Rams a couple of years ago, back in 2021, the year after the Super Bowl there. But I'm never gonna forget Mike Evans beating Jalen Ramsey in his prime one-on-one. That was one of the all-time plays. Godwin was amazing beginning of the season before. Yep, Chris Godwin before that hurt ankle 2 years ago. David. Wasn't he the number one receiver in all of fantasy? He was right up there. I think there is definitely an argument against the 49ers in playoff locks. I would say the Bears are better. You are totally right. And that's your name. That's what I'm referring to there. Look, you don't got to do much convincing for me. But as a Chicago Bears fan, if you are a Bears fan, you are totally right. Make sure you subscribe and support your fellow diehard Bears fan. One of the days of my life, honestly, getting out to that Bears-Rams game. And guys on TikTok, if you haven't done so, make sure you hit that follow button right now. I appreciate all of you being in here on a Saturday afternoon, just talking football. Mike Lit, every single time you just come in here guns a-blazing with that comment. Mark my words, Baker bakes regardless of wide receiver. Z-Money mixtapes. Yo, what's up? For the Bears. Oh, we got some Bears negativity there from K9TYY227. Coop. You don't think the Bears regress a little? They just like 49. I won't lie, Sean. As a fan of football, that was a fun game to watch. It stayed the first game of the year. Stay sober, Zane. I like that comment. Everybody, make sure, if you can, to be responsible about what you do with those substances. Right? Don't be going past the line. Be safe and responsible about things. It's a good comment. Bears missing playoffs from Keegan. Interesting. So you're down on Chicago a little bit, huh? You think there's regression in the comment in here from I think I did see the question though, asking if I do think the Bears regress. Who asked about it? I'm sorry if I missed you. I don't think that they regress next year. I believe that there will be a regression in crazy late game heroics. Thank you for the follow, depressed Buccaneers fan. Why are you depressed? You won a Super Bowl 5 years ago, depressed Bears fan. They lost 6 key pieces on Coop. To your point, they did, but I would argue, and look, I understand there could be innate bias. I'm a Bears fan, but do you think that Brisker and Byard was better than what they have now in Bryant and in the back end with Dylan Thieneman? That'd be my first question. And up front, Shamar Turner, their second round pick, who is amazing with A&M. I don't know how much you guys watch college football, but that 24 A&M defense, Shamar Turner, Cassius Howell, Nick Scarton, they were unbelievable. They had Will Lee that just got drafted, Taurian York. They were really good. But why I don't think the Bears regress defensively is Jalen Johnson and Kyler Gordon were not healthy for a snap. And I think that if they're not healthy for a snap last year, if they get on the field, you're immediately looking at 2 top 10 guys at their position to be on the field. That's why I've got Chicago being better there. But Smiling Turtle, make sure you're following. Thank you for being in here. Thank you to who missed it. Keegan. They could. They absolutely could. The division's as tough as it comes in football. They got a very tough schedule. Keegan, they could. Who's your team, Keegan? And Keegan, make sure you're following. Appreciate you for being active in here. Coop, make sure you're following. They could. The regressions, they could fall back a little bit. Trenton, thank you for the follow. Aaron Rodgers is trash from Amy Small. Thank you for the follow. Is it not Sarish? Sarek? Sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. I think the Patriots are going to regress. That's the expectation. They were in the Super Bowl last year, and to your point, like 17 of the 60 teams that have lost the Super Bowl historically have missed the playoffs the next year. I believe it's 17 or 18. It's something right there in like 37%, something like that. So there's there's about a 1 in 3 chance that I think it's like 29%. That math would have been wrong. It's like 29-30% of the teams that lost in the Super Bowl missed the playoffs. So it's just surprising that it's that high, that many teams that were amongst the elite, the top of football, that fall back. Bears will be the Bears from Sean Lapper. Jets Desert. Look, the Jets to me, I've said it, guys. I apologize if there's repetition here for myself. The Jets, until they show otherwise, they're going to stay where they are. I know they've had drafts where they've added Sauce Gardner and Quinnen Williams. We're fired up about Zach Wilson and Breece Hall, but they continue to lose and to disappoint. And there's positivity there. Omar Cooper, Kenyon Sadiq, Mason Taylor. They re-sign and extend Breece Hall. Garrett Wilson, but quarterback's a question mark. And they invested in the offensive line. Olu Fashanu, Armand Membu. I'm naming the entire Jets offense. But it doesn't matter who you have if your quarterback can't play well. And defensively, they're worse than they are offensively. So that's where I'm at on the Jets right now, Desert. To me, the quickest way for the Jets to get better is to be awful this year, go 4-13, get a top 3 pick in the draft, get your franchise quarterback, use that Colts first round pick, use that Packers or Cowboys, whoever has the worst record first round pick, get a new quarterback, bring in a corner, and then that other pick that you have, use it. Toot Arrington, what's up, my man? How you doing? It's a Saturday afternoon, and you're in here. Whatever you're up to, just let me know, man. I really have to thank you for being here. You could be doing anything else on a Saturday at the end of May. The sun is out and bright here. I can see here in Hermosa Beach, and it'd be fun to be out there. But I'll tell you what's more fun, being in here talking football. There's nothing else we'd rather be doing. Unless there was a game on right now. If there's some college football on, it would be more fun to be live and talking about it, actual games on the field. That's the only thing. Blaze McMullen, if Dallas defense is legit this year, they could get past the wild card round. Blaze, I agree. Caleb Downs will be the determining factor about whether the Cowboys get to a Super Bowl. They could. If he's that guy, they absolutely could. Make sure you're following Blaze McMullen. Good to see you. Don't think I've seen you before, Blaze. What's up? Do you think the Giants will go positive? I assume that means better. Do I think the Giants will be better than Kevin? That is exactly right. That is exactly right. I am a Bears fan from the South Bay. I am also an Ohio State fan. You're asking, well, how the hell did that happen? My mom is from Southside Chicago, and I had no other choice but to grow up a fan of the Midwest. And I chose Ohio State when I was about 5 years old, and the Bears. And Blaze, thank you for the follow. My uncle lives in Chicago still. He would go to games. He's a season ticket holder, and he would continue to. Thank you for the heart me, Big Cardis. Bears classic team. Yeah, I got you, Amy. There you go. Jets finished third place in our division, so one up a little bit. The Jets moving up in the world, finishing third place. Brian, thank you for the follow. I don't know if I've seen you in here before, Brian, but look, this is football talk year round. We've been going live every single day. We were live for 3 hours yesterday, and that was less than normal. Alex, thank you for the follow. And let me know what you guys think. Look, if you disagree with my rankings, that's fine. I'm not going to hate you. Of course I do, Jace. What's up? Good to see you. The Kobe Bryant profile photo. It's easy to remember seeing that in here. San Francisco playoff locks. How did you come to that conclusion? Well, they beat the Eagles on the road last year. They beat Chicago, who was zooming at that point of the season without Nick Bosa, without George Kittle. In that Bears game, Kittle was on the field towards Achilles. That's why. Like, if they are healthy, I'm a Bears fan, Jace, and in Ohio State. Yeah, so if they're that good and they get those guys back, I know they play a tougher schedule, which you'll probably it's not probably, you will agree with. Still, like 10-7 for San Francisco, a little bit of regression. That's still gonna get them a wild card, which I have them going 10-7 next year as a wild card coming out of the NFC. What do we got? Random Panther fan. Where are the Panthers? They're in the far right of the contenders category. Just random Panther fan. Let me know what you think about that, because I've said it and I'm going to shout it from the rooftops. The Panthers would have beat the Rams if J.C. Horn was on the field, if he was not injured. So, random Panther fan, make sure you're following. We've got a lot of respect for Carolina. Look, that division's tough. It's still one of the worst in football, but Tampa, New Orleans, Carolina, whoever can have the best quarterback play can win that division. A random Panther fan, thank you for the question about Carolina. I love talking about that team. And Bryce Young, let's see. Let's see it. Let's see if he can be consistent. Go earn your $40+ million bag a year, Mr. Heisman Trophy winner. It's funny 49ers fans think they can compete with the Rams and Hawks from Eli. I know. I know, Eli. It's an interesting sentiment. They did beat the Rams on a Thursday night game with Mac Jones, and Eli, with Christian McCaffrey on the field and a healthy quarterback, they legitimately can beat anybody. Like, even the Bears, who took the Rams to overtime, like they beat Chicago without Bosa, without Michael Williams, their first rounder, without Fred Warner. San Francisco's a good team, but to your point, I agree with you. Seattle and the Rams are just an echelon above that with the weapons that they have and just their simple roster construction right now. The Niners are aging a little bit. What's up, Hunter? Good to have you in here. But Hunter, Eli, make sure both of you guys are following. What's up? Jace, I don't think I caught that question from SB Booth, Mac Jones. I don't know what team you're a fan of, SB Booth, but he plays good in spurts. That's why he was drafted 15th overall in 2020. Or was it the 2020 draft? Or was it, I think it was the 2021 draft. The 2020 draft, I want to say. Make sure you're following at SB Booth Q08. Seahawks run the league. I've got them still a Super Bowl or bust. I've been asked about it. Like, why are they Super Bowl or bust when they just won the Super Bowl? Look, their window is now. You've got your quarterback on this deal. Sam Darnold value should probably be 15. Lava, what's up? Sorry it took me a little bit to get to that comment. Good to see you. Yeah, thank you for telling them that. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, Betty, what's going on? Why don't any phone companies run ads on the Super Bowl? They are Charger fans. I think they do, don't they? Let's get, what do we got here in the chat right now? Maddie, easily better than every team in their division. We're excited. We're excited about that, Maddie. Maddie08, make sure both of you guys are following. SB Booth, Brady, Bosarge, Shuck MVP season. I think it's more realistically once they have more experience for Tyson and Olave, maybe even add another weapon. But Brady, Bosarge, make sure you're following. What is going on? What's up? What's going on YouTube? Am I missing anything? Chicago Clowns, the 49ers. The 49ers, we really don't need no topic players because they're making into players. How do you think the Saints will do this year, Brady? I think the Saints are going to be right there competing for the division. It's going to be compressed. I don't think there's any 11-6 team from the South because honestly, a lot of these teams have the same talent composite. No quarterback that stands a lot higher above the rest unless Baker just plays a lot better. But you could argue you'd rather have Tyler Shuck than Bryce Young potentially. Bryce Young could be him if he can put it together consistently, but you almost have to pay him. Tyler Shuck's got 3 more years of a cheap salary to build together a roster in New Orleans, and you can start adding players in the next 2 years. So I think they'll be good next year, Brady. I do think they'll have success. My guy Brady, make sure you're following. Fernando getting another chip from RDK Polo. Make sure that you are following. Great to see you this afternoon. LBX, the Saints above the Falcons when they got swept by them and went 6-11. That is, I'll just say that was last year, and we're looking forward here at Lex. But it's a good point. Atlanta, though. Are you going to tell me right now you love what they are at quarterback? Are you fired up about Tua or Michael Penix Jr.? And I love Michael Penix Jr. That was one of my favorite experiences of my life, watching this man warm up in front of me before he played USC in 2023 in an October evening, USC versus Washington. So I love Atlanta. Xavier Watts, I was talking about this guy should be a second rounder. Fell to the bottom of the 3rd round and immediately has an impact. Guys, Xavier Watts had 13 interceptions in 2023 and 2024 in college football. Led the country, 2-time All-American, and still fell. So LBX, my guy, make sure you're following. Coleman, thank you for the follow. Browns 8-9. Not Serish, being realistic about it. I got to respect that. 8-9 could be doable right there, maybe competing for a playoff spot. We could see. Who do you think will win the NFC South? Right now, I've got Carolina. As you can tell, we're high on them. Now, Carolina, there was a tad little bit of a, I'm going to be honest here, folks, a little bit of a bribery situation. There was a small donation made to get the Panthers into that category. The feedback has been mixed about Carolina there, but not entirely a negative. Oh, there's a lot more negativity about the Raiders being in that playoffs question mark spot than where they are. But I got to be forthright, folks. There are some teams that have been influenced by the general population with my rankings through the means of a little bit of bribery for some of these positions. I got to say it just so you know. What do we got? Jon Snow. My Vikings going to shock the world? Well, they would shock me, Jon Snow. Look, I am fired up about their defense. And Caleb Banks, boom or bust. If he booms, you're looking at the steal of the draft at 18th overall. 18th overall. Yeah, they were right there, close to a playoff spot. If they beat the Bears, they would have been in the postseason, right? And it's just on the quarterback, Jon Snow. What do we got? Is Kyler winning it? Jon Snow, are you going to tell me that you're not a little bit nervous about the quarterback room right now? A little bit of that drama. Maybe it's just smoke up in the air. Shouldn't be worried about it, but I personally am a little bit. Jon Snow, the Northern man. Make sure you are following Jon Snow. Ethan Carson. Chiefs are winning the Super Bowl. Prove me not, Ethan. Look, they went to 7 straight AFC Championship games, Ethan. You don't got to tell me about what their level is when Patrick Mahomes and they've got health around them. Thank you for the follow, Jon Snow. Look, if he's healthy and he's the same guy, they just added Peter Woods, Mansour Delane. I love me college football. We cover it extensively here. And they added R. Mason Thomas. We guys remember his pick 6 against Tennessee that saved their season on that game that was at the same time as the World Series? Well, I remember that in usually either early November or late October last year. Ethan Carson, make sure that you are following Austin Blackner. Welcome back, Austin. We see you every day, and I tip my cap, my man. Thank you so much for all the support you've continued to show for hopping in. Jon Snow, thanks for the follow. Commanders' defense will be better. Well, do we like Sonny Styles? Yes. Do we like Antonio Williams? Yes. Do we think Josh Connerly Jr. will be better next year? A resounding yes. Is Laramie Tunsil, even though he's older, one of the best left tackles in football? They're all yeses. Is Jaden Daniels probably going to be healthy this year? Yes. So there is all of that talent for that Washington team to be better next season. To your point, Austin, I know you just talked about defense. Trey Amos in his second year. Now, Mikey Sanders still. He must have worried you a little bit last year. Is there a level for Mikey Sanders still where he's more reliable? Because that corner number 2 position is currently in doubt right now. You'd probably agree, Austin. He did not look great last year. Trey Amos as a rookie, straight out of Ole Miss. He was going up against DeJon Stribling. He was facing that talented wide receiving core there in 2024. He had lots of experience. So I'm excited about him. Still got questions about Sanders still, though. Everybody on YouTube, if you have not subscribed, please make sure to do so. Football content every single day. Last year, I was in Africa for 2 weeks. We still got football content every single day because we scheduled it ahead of time. I got a question about Caleb Downs in the chat, and I just brought up Africa because there's an analogy I make. Look, Caleb Downs, and follow me with a second for this, folks. Caleb Downs and his ability, not as talented as some of these other guys. He isn't as big as Kyle Hamilton. He's not as fast as Derwin James or have those physical traits. But Caleb Downs' ability reminds me of my guides when I was on my Africa safari. Remember, folks, stay with me with this story. They had the most unbelievable eyes I have ever seen. They could spot an animal legitimately half a mile or a mile away. But also, there was a factor where they had these incredible eyes, but they had other safari guides around them where they could radio to themselves. There's a lion in this area. There's a cheetah. There's a rhino. Keep on the lookout. So Caleb Downs innately has this ability where he's a good football player. He is a football playing Jess. He doesn't miss tackles, but his film, his cerebral nature, that's what I talk about with what we're mentioning with these guys, knowing that there's a lion in the area. If you're a safari guide in Africa and you know what to potentially look for to show the folks that are there on that trip, look, keep my eyes looking for a lion. If we're looking for a cheetah, we know we're looking for a longer tail. If it's a warthog, we know they stick up in the grass, and make sure you're following them. So that's my kind of analogy here on what I say with Caleb Downs. He knows what to look for, and that's what makes him a lot better. If you're a good safari guide in Africa, you are going to be very good at communicating. You're going to talk to everybody in the area, make friends with the other guides. That way, they tell you what's going on in the area, what animals are there. If you're Caleb Downs, you're going to be smart, so you know what to recognize, what is on the field. So that was a 2-minute take on Caleb Downs on TikTok, on YouTube. Let me know if you guys like that one. If it's confusing, I'm happy to go through it. YouTube, Lions should be higher. I can see it. That's literally number 1, and we got a new O-line. Make this guy Cody. Look, that's not the most respectful thing to say to somebody, but look, if that's how you want to approach talking to people, I'm not going to say to anything different. It's your life to live. Tyron, 17-0. All right, we can see it. D. Circo. Panthers are coming third in the South. D. Circo a little bit lower on the Carolina Panthers. Is it doubting Bryce Young? Are you similar to the way people are feeling about the Texans? You don't trust Bryce Young, D. Circo? Because I know you probably respect their defense with Horn, Mike Jackson. They brought in Devin Lloyd, right? They just added Jalen Phillips there, so they should be better. D Circo, great to see you. Make sure you're following. Cat Thief, also make sure you're following. Thank you for being on in here. Do I think Oregon wins the Big Ten? Yes. Do I think Oregon wins the national championship? Yes. They return 4 starters on their D line, Austin. Mateo Uyunglele. If you guys know the name Uyunglele, yes, he had a brother, DJ Uyunglele, the quarterback for Florida State, the quarterback for Oregon State before he transferred. There were a lot of memes about DJ. His younger brother, Mateo, is a dog on defense. They retain Amari Washington, who I have as my current top defensive tackle prospect in the 2027 NFL Draft. They retain Tatum Tuioti. They retain Bear Alexander. Now, Bear Alexander has been called the soft, cuddly teddy bear at times. Noah, it's your birthday. Happy birthday, Noah. What's up? Thank you for being here on a YouTube and TikTok power rankings football conversation. It's your birthday. I can't tell you how much I appreciate that, just being here. But you will have fun. If you want to have fun on your birthday, this is a good spot. Austin, they've got a dynamic weapon. Cat Thief, thank you for where you put Sauce in your cornerback list. It's a good question, Cat Thief. Coverage ability, he's top 3. He's right up there with Stingley and with Pat Surtain. But I love physical corners. I like guys that can also come downhill. He's not as good as Stingley is in that category. He's not as good as Kamari Lassiter in that category. He's not like a Devin Witherspoon there. He's not like Quinyon Mitchell. There's not even J.C. Horn there. The biggest thing to me about Sauce is he's insane. He's locked down. So I don't have Sauce in my top 3 corners in football. Maybe that's a hot take, but I've got Witherspoon, Stingley, and Surtain right there above him. But after that, the conversation starts. Mario Cardell, please make sure not to spam Mario. I think they absolutely could. Make sure you are following Mario. Bro, am the #1 liker. Show my Ravens some love for Baltimore next year. We got you, Timeless. We got them with love. They're in the contending category. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We got them at number 9 right now on the power rankings, Timeless. Is that what you're saying, though? You want them to be playoff locks? Guys on TikTok right now, make sure if you have not followed, please do so right now. Thank you for being in here. On YouTube, guys, if you have not hit that subscribe button, if you're not a football fan, I understand it. But if you are, this is football content every single day. We're building a community of the diehard fans that I think a lot of you guys know ball. Even if you are looking to learn more, this is the exact place that we can come together and have conversations so we can all enjoy this sport together. I mean, certain is speaking facts. You're biased. It's literally Surtain Glazer. He is the best cornerback in football, though. Combination of size and his coverage ability, he's incredible. Sylvester, what's going on, Sylvester? Sylvester, do you remember? Sylvester, did I go on about if it's a mad world? Are you that Sylvester in the chat? Are you this? I saw there's a couple of Sylvesters that we talked to. So I have to be biased from Tyron. I always appreciate, though, people saying what their biases are and understanding it. Say happy birthday to the person who said it was his birthday. Happy birthday is exactly right, Marie. We did. I love the Giants from Leo Messi. Leo Messi back to play in another. Oh no, Waffle House. I got you. Yeah, Waffle House. I remember you, Sylvester. No way people think from Dodge. Let's have a conversation. If you don't, let's stay in here for a little bit and see if we know something potentially. Thinking the Texans are bad. I have the Texans going to the Super Bowl next year, Dodge. Will Anderson Jr. is, to me, going to be the winning defensive player of the year. What are we talking about? So I have to be biased, though. I got you, though, Tyron. Cooper Christian, if you guarantee me that Burrow's healthy, they're in the contenders category. They're in the top 10 in football. It's that simple. This dude is the #2 quarterback in the league when he's healthy. So I agree with you, but do you have a crystal ball that tells me Burrow's going to be healthy entirely next year? You really can't, because they've been a bottom 4 rushing offense each of the last 4 years. They've been bottom 4 in rush yards. Do you know college ball at all? If so, do you think about Jadarian Price filling Kenneth Walker's shoes? So, CV Breezy, we cover a ton of college football. We do a ton. If you are following here, we're going to be coming out with we've been doing rankings and everything. But to answer your question, Jadarian does not offer the same receiving ability. Thank you, Raider Nation. I appreciate that. We're going to keep it up every single day. But what Price does offer is a guy that's fresher coming into the league. There is maybe the sentiment like he was never the number one running back, but I believe that means he's got less tread on his tires. If he's a tank, he's a fresher, newer tank that has, what did he run, a 4.48 in the combine? And I believe he's a better receiving back than he gets credit for. And my hot take to finalize this comment on Jadarian Price is I believe that Price will finish with more total yards than Love in his rookie season. Bo beat your team, so you can't say that, from Bo Chapman, the beta fish. We do talk a lot of college football on here, though, to address that. I'm out, Blitz. Go to a graduation party, Austin. Go have a lot of fun. Go have yourself a time. Tyron, Commanders should go up too. Okay, I can see it. Commanders love. I got no issues with Commanders love. Jeremiah Smith will be a Cleveland Brown from HA, keeping our men in Ohio. Look, this is the best wide receiver since Calvin Johnson. I think he's going to be, in some point, better than Chase, better than Jefferson. Some people disagree, but if you guys don't know why Jeremiah is considered to be a Calvin, a Julio Jones, it's because he is as fast as Jamar Chase. He's 6'3", he's 225 pounds, and he is just as fast. It's ridiculous. We haven't seen a talent like this in 20 years, and I cannot tell you how excited I am. Thank you for Sertan Glazer hopping in on the spam. I don't want to continue to go on and on about number 4 at Ohio State, but the talent is ridiculous. If you've ever seen him play in person, you understand why I'm coming with that statement. Have you seen the Pats schedule this year? Sig Allen, I have. It is a lot tougher, but again, remember, he still played the Dolphins twice and the Jets twice on that same schedule, Sig Allen. I have the Patriots going 10-7 and making the playoffs, and I think their ceiling is lower than the Bears, than the Chargers, than the Lions, but I think it's more likely that they could make the playoffs just because, at the very least, they're starting off the season 3-1. Sig Allen. And my guy Sig Allen, make sure you're following. Carson Mess2, make sure you're following guys on TikTok. Make sure to hit that follow button right now if you haven't already done so. Football content every single day. We've been live for about an hour and 15 minutes. We're going to be live for about another hour and a half, 2 hours. So thank you so much for being in here on YouTube right now. If you have not, please make sure to subscribe. I appreciate every single one of you for being here on a Saturday in May, fired up talking football, getting into lively, respectful, but lively debates about this sport that we love so much. This is the best ranking I've seen from Zaid Marquise. I appreciate that. Thank you so much, Saeed. Mr. If that is how you pronounce your name. Mr. Spiffy, move the Jags and Bears out the playoff locks. I'm with you. I just don't want to show that bias as a Bears fan a little bit there, Mr. Spiffy. But Mr. Spiffy, Zaid, or Zaid, make sure that the both of you guys are following here. Thank you so much for being here. Chatting ball. Tickle, what do you say? Zaid, gotcha. Why are the Pats above the Bears? Look, they're at least going to start the season 3-1, Tickle, whereas the Bears in that division, they went 2-4 and won the NFC North, and very likely, like they can go 5-1 in that division. They could beat the Jets twice. They can beat the Dolphins twice. They play the Bills. You start off 5-1, even if the rest of those 11 games you go 5-6, right? You just need to go 500. You're a 7-7 team in the playoffs. So that's why the Pats would be over the Bears, Tickle, just from a sense of their division. I know they got a tougher schedule, but Tickle, I'm a diehard Chicago Bears fan. We're on the same page. Ceiling-wise, the Bears are going to be better next year. I believe in that squad. A.J. Brown joins New England, though. Look out. My man, Tickle, make sure you are following, brother. John Wilson. The Finns are better than that, John. John. You know what I'm going to say to you next. Every single person on YouTube, all 100 plus of them, know what I'm going to say. John, that Miami is building. They have the functionality. They're building it up from the foundation. Would we rather go 8-9 next year or go 4-13 and bring in Colin Simmons, Dylan Stewart, Jeremiah Smith to that team? You can have the opinion you'd rather go 8-9. I would not be even surprised if Willis does well. You think that Jeremiah Smith will be a Cardinal and join Marvin Harrison? That would be incredible to see. That would be amazing. All right, sign me up for that to wind up seeing. But that's what I've been saying to Miami fans. And look, if the Arizona Cardinals are low enough to get Smith, though, you would imagine that they would take a quarterback, though. Scene One, thank you for following. Thank you for sharing the live, Scene One. Thank you so much for the follow and the subscribe. I appreciate you, Johnston. Thank you so much. Cowboys from Coach Ice. Is your name? Wait, is it Chase? Chase, I think. Cowboys, exclamation points, fired up about one of the best receiving duos in football. Are the Cowboys going to be as good running the ball next year, Coach Ice, though? That was an underrated part of their offense last year. They were really good in the red zone running, as well as the production out of the backfield. What do you think? Defensively, though, if they're top 12 and they stay up high, am I a Carson Beck hater? No, what was his record in college? Wasn't he like 20? Is he 30-6 as a starter? 24-5? It was something ridiculous like that. He was insane. No, I'm not a Carson Beck hater. That's honestly funny. Scene One, thank you so much for the follow. Sharing the live to my main account. Thank you, Scene One. They running over everybody, lol. Make sure you are following my guy, Coach Ice. JJ Smith doesn't... Timeless. You got to laugh out of me. I think Smith would be the number one receiver on 26 teams right now in the league. I put him very highly in those rankings. Thank you, Quarter R Outdoors. You can disagree. We can have different opinions on what a guy is that hasn't played yet on an NFL field. I don't think the Cardinals will be in 2 to 3 years. With Jeremiah Love, Marvin Harrison, they bring another guy. I like Coleman. You kidding me? Cam Coleman? There may not be a combination of a team next year I'm more excited to watch than Cam Coleman, Colin Simmons, Trevor Gooseby, Arch Manning, Rasheem Biles, and the Texas Longhorns next year, John Wilson. They are going to be a fun watch. Cannot wait to see the Buckeyes go down to Texas to DKR Memorial, and go take on the Texas Longhorns. In the evening, it's going to be 90 degrees at 5 o'clock. We're going to have that game kick off. It's going to be unbelievable. Fletcher from Miami, Mark Fletcher Jr. Really sad story about his dad. Thank you so much, CJ Zuniga, for the GOAT. Thank you for 8 of the GOATs. Thank you for the love there. Texans, it is a playoff lock. The Lions are a playoff lock from Worthless. Worthless. It's all about that clarity afterwards, though. Worthless. Thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate it. And subscribing, guys. Thank you so much for all of the support on this live. We've been here for an hour 20. The plan is to be here for about 3 hours right now and then to take a break. So I appreciate it. We only going to lose the NFC teams. It could happen. But Worthless, I think the Lions are going to win the NFC North next year. You don't got to. You do not got to tell me that schedule and how good they will be next year if they're healthy. So, Coach Ice, my guy, Worthless, make sure you are following. Spencer, opinions on the Bucks. I feel like we're gonna suck. Are they gonna suck? I don't have the Bucks being any worse than 7-10. Are they gonna win a playoff game next year, even if they win the division? Hard to know. And I'm excited about that backfield with Bucky Irving. He wasn't healthy last year. The offensive line didn't play well. Defensively, are we going to immediately have an impact from Ruben Bain and Keontae Scott from the get-go, Josiah Trotter? It's probably going to take some time for the Bucs. And is Baker just going to randomly throw stupid picks like that one against the Falcons on that Thursday night game? Weren't they up 14? He threw that pick. Winds up costing them literally a spot in the playoffs because of that interception. They would have won the division if he doesn't throw that pick. So my guy Spencer, though, thank you so much for supporting Spencer. Make sure that you are following. Coach Ice, thank you for the follow. As a Broncos fan, please put us back at the bottom. I don't need this soulful. We had a donation. We had a little bit of a bribe. Spencer, thank you for the follow from Sertan Glazer on YouTube. That's why they are currently in that category. There's been a lot of positivity, though, about the Broncos, even after we had that to put them in that category. My guy, Ben, who's the best cornerback in the NFL after Sertan, Ben? I know who you're going to answer before that. Stingley, J.C. Horn, Sauce Gardner. Answer me that question, Ben. Give me something. But Soulful, Ben, the two of you guys, make sure you're following, folks. On YouTube, guys, what do we got? Dodge. We played almost every playoff team. Panthers better than the Cowboys from Spider-Man. Now, that's a take. I mean, on paper, maybe Dallas is better on paper, but paper hasn't gotten the Cowboys to an NFC title game in 30 years. So what the hell does paper mean? We just toss it in a fire. We burn that. It turns into smoke that pollutes our air. That's what we do with paper currently, right? Sauce at 2 is valid. I don't have sauce at you like sauce, though. Okay, Ben. I got you, Ben. Mike Malarkey, Titans too low. For sure better than the sleeper Steelers and the Coping Cowboys. Their trajectory, higher, right? You've got all these young, talented players. You've got Nick Singleton there now, who I thought was one of the steals of the draft. You kidding me? Kid rushed for what, 3,400 yards in college? 30-plus touchdowns at Penn State. He's going to be great. Anthony Hill Jr., I had at 21 on my big board. I had Keldrick Falk at 16 on my big board, Mike. I really like what the Titans are next year, but they are see it to believe it, because I got to see what they do on the field before I'm just going to jolt them up. They were the 4th team in the league last year, 4th worst. We're just going to put them into competing for the playoffs. We can put them there once we see them play like it. That's why we got them right there, Mike. I hope you understand that. So make sure you're following Mike. Tyler, AFC North is going to be strong this year. Bengals going to win 13. Look, if you got a healthy Joe Burrow, Tyler, I fully believe it can happen. Make sure you're following Tyler. Ben, if you have not already followed, make sure you're doing so. STU, Chiefs still too high, in my opinion, as a Chiefs fan. You know, STU, it are people like you that make our world better. People that have a knowledge of what their biases are. They understand. They're mature enough to say, okay, I have my bias. I know how to navigate this world, understanding those biases, because they can be a weakness sometimes. And they can sway our opinion and change the way that we're going to the way that we're going to talk and interact. So thank you, STU, for that feedback. It's great to see that. Quit hitting on him from Lynn. Who are we hitting on? What are we talking about? Thank you for the follow. I appreciate you, Tyler. Thank you for the follow. War Behind Black name. Interesting name there. Bro, this Bryce Young got to go. The Panthers had negative point differential. It was awful from blood, but their defense was really good. I don't even believe that Bryce is guaranteed to be the guy. Brooks, what are we saying? What are you saying? About 20? I'm not. They so annoying from Spider-Man. Yeah, you're good with them, you ugly baby. Gotta look at last year's games. We beat them before Thanksgiving. Was a field goal away in that last 3 games. There's a crack in the Eagles' armor. They very well could be. I don't think they're going to... Interesting name. Look, it is, right? You got to chuckle at me. Chiefs fan, not going to let you hit for jocking bias. Okay. But Lynn, make sure you're following my guy, Blood. Make sure you are following. What do we got here? Coach Ice plus KC gonna be back on top. Just wait and see. If they have a healthy Patrick Mahomes that can take hits. What do you mean by sent 20? I just want to. What do you mean by that? I don't know what you're talking about there, Brooks. Gustafson. You sent somebody in the chat $20? Guys, make sure you're not being scammed. There have been donations for why people have moved up on this list. It's not a scam. We've moved people up. We have influenced our own rankings, gone back and moved the graphic. If you want to see your team move down a little bit and it's a little bit out of reason, it can happen. This show is influenceable by the means of a donation. That is why right now a team like Carolina is a little bit higher than maybe they should be. The Denver Broncos kind of deserve to be there. They do. I've liked the sentiment around them. What do we got? RNFL from Frank. What is that? What does that mean? CJ Zuniga, thank you for the goats. I appreciate you. Coach Ice, an Eagles fan. I don't think so. Yeah, Timeless. I can understand why that may sound outlandish. Timeless, my question to you is, have you seen each of those top 5 guys play in person? Have you been able to compare what they look like from a standpoint, like movement-wise and everything? That's the main thing. Is if you get to see those guys play in person, and I'm not talking about from the second level up. I'm talking about getting there for warm-ups, and getting a feel for the way that they move and get around. I got you. I can understand why you feel that way, but I've gotten to see some of these guys play. Like Jefferson, I've been right next to Justin Jefferson, and I've been right next to Chase with some of these guys, and that's just my opinion. That Jeremiah, once he gets to the league, is going to immediately be one of the best 5 receivers in football. Just like Jamar, his rookie year, Jamar Chase, by like week 4, was a top 5 receiver in the league already. Blood, Panthers were allowing 330 yards per game, bottom 10. According to DVOA, they were good enough. They improved at the end of the year too. They were getting pressure on the quarterback. They were improved against the run. Like they're adding also to that now. Derek Brown, they're adding Devin Lloyd, and Phillips. But look, I love the pushback on Carolina, and understanding that it's simply up to Bryce Young for them to be back to where they were. If he's consistent, there's not a huge cap on the ceiling for them. But Blood, make sure you are following Frank Rizzo. Make sure that you are following Raider Nation for life. What do we got? From Move Pats to the bottom from Nicholas. We can't quite say ZIY Driver. What's up? ZIY Driver 299 is in the chat. Good to see you. Blood, thank you for the follow. Look, Blood, I am probably one of those people that's a lot lower on Bryce Young than maybe is fair. He did get them to the playoffs, but first overall pick, and you still don't know, that's not a good sign. If I had to wager, I would say he's not the guy, and they'd be better off resetting the clock. I know you gave it up. Caleb Williams for Bryce would have been a good trade for Chicago, not even including a second-round pick and all the other, like Luther Burden and Darnell Wright and Tyreek Stevenson, Torrey Taylor, all the talent that they got. So I'm with you, Blood. I'm with you. I'm with you on Carolina. Like I said, the Panthers are currently there by the means of interaction with my fans, with the Blitz with Blender community, who paid a donation to get the Panthers up to the contenders category from playoffs, ? That's why they are currently there. You heard me right, folks. This Blitz with Blender show at times can be influenced by the means of donation. Some would say it's bribery. Look in the definition. It could go either way on what it is. Bengals for sure contenders from Heavy. Heavy and everyone that's been in here. I've said it so many times. If you are healthy, yes, they will be there. But since Burrow has not been healthy in half of his years in the league, I can't just put him in there knowing that half of his seasons he hasn't been healthy for the whole year. Law Dogs, I got you. And Heavy Hands, make sure that you are following Don't Come at AZ from Yo Mama Alt. Make sure you're following Broncos are good. Sertan Glazer, we got PV Condones saying that the Broncos aren't. What do you not like about the Broncos, PV Condones? Just tell me straight what you think. Henry, Heavy Hands J, thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate you guys on YouTube. If you haven't done so, make sure that you are subscribed to Blitz with Blender here. It is awesome to see this kind of support. We got 92 people in the chat. We got 43 on TikTok right now. We've got 120 plus diehard, huge football fans that are in the month of May wanting to hear their opinions and debate this sport when we're still 3 months out from the year. Thank you so much. I don't think Knicks is enough to put them there. Okay, so you've got doubts on Knicks. What is it about, Bo? Did you not like what he was at Oregon, or you just think he's a bit inaccurate? He misses too many open guys. Like, I'm just curious. I want to hear a little bit more about that. It's a D3 low. And what's your team, D3 low? Let me know. What's your squad? I'm always curious about where the allegiance is like. Keep downplaying the Chiefs. We got them as contenders. All I got to see is Mahomes take a hit to the knee. All I got to see is Mahomes take a big hit to the lower level, him walk it off or run it off. His mobility has put him as the number one quarterback in football and hit that space bar 5 times. Drake Peterson, you know that's how it be. D3 low, make sure you're following. Drake Peterson, make sure you're following. Grundy Sizzle, Caleb Williams, top 3 MVP votes. As a diehard Chicago Bears fan, the amount of money I would pay to see that happen is significant. So I'm hopeful, and at some point we will see it. Is it in year? Is it in year 3? I would absolutely love to. If Caleb Williams is top 3 in MVP votes, the Bears legitimately are potentially a Super Bowl team. Grundy Sizzle, my guy, make sure that you are following Dolphins media. You think the Dolphins can at least pull out 7 wins? At least not 7, Dolphins media. Right now I have Miami going 5-12 next year as my prediction. That's why I've got them in first overall contention. They could win 7. How do they win 7? You have play immediately at a high level from Chris Bell. He looks like that explosive kid after the catch. You have Caleb Douglas, also impactful as a rookie. He's a contested guy. You put him on the outside, you can put Chris Bell working over the intermediate levels. And then Devon Achane, he'll be opened up by what those guys do on the outside. And defensively, do we see Jacob Rodriguez make impacts? If you have good play from your rookies in year 1, Dolphins media, 7 wins is not crazy, but my question to you is, Dolphins media, I don't know if you live in the 305. Would you rather go 7-10 and get the 13th pick in the draft? Or would you rather finish as one of the worst 3 teams in football and have Colin Simmons, Dylan Stewart, Jeremiah Smith? That's my biggest thing, Dolphins media. But Dolphins media, make sure that you are following XZZXSH. Bucks should net in playoff locks. I don't care. I get it. I can understand positivity about your squad. I got you. And XZZXSH, make sure that you're following, my guy. Great to see a diehard in here. D3 Low, thank you for the follow. Packers, okay. I like Knicks' legs, and his defense is amazing. Have led the league in sacks the last 2 years. If you're a Bears fan, you would be happy with that. I just think his arm could be better. Okay. So misses a couple too easy ones. Pats in the playoffs. Yeah, Chuck. We've got the Pats making the playoffs next year. Remember, folks, it's only 29% of the time that a team that lost in the Super Bowl missed the playoffs the next year. And a lot of people think that statistic's higher. They call it the Super Bowl hangover, as it's well known nationally and within the NFL community. But it's only happened 17 times out of 60 historically where the team that lost the Super Bowl wounds up missing the playoffs. I just got my first offer from NCANT. NCA. Would you say A&T? North Carolina A&T. North Carolina Agricultural and Technical State. Well done, Timeless. Let's go. From Johnny freaking 5. Bears have no chance. Now, Johnny, who am I going to say that you're wrong here? You could absolutely be right. But I'm curious, Johnny, why you don't think the Bears will be good. Is it you don't believe in Caleb? They had way too many takeaways last year. They're going to regress like they did in 2019, missed the playoffs after they led the league in takeaways in 2018. Do you think they were in so many close games last year that it was a little bit fluky? I'm just curious, Johnny, where you lie on why you say that. I always want to know people's opinions. They say something in the comments, make a statement, and then let's get some context to why they believe that. Who's better than Love or Williams logically right now? I mean, Caleb offers more upside as a rusher. Caleb is, more talented. Consistently, Jordan Love has been the better quarterback. Going into next year, I'd rather have Caleb, but Jordan Love so far is the better quarterback. Right? You've seen a body of work for 3 years of Jordan Love being good, being good, being good, getting to the playoffs 3 years in a row, whereas Caleb's been erratic. But you want to ask me who I'd rather have? I mean, you get 3 years of Caleb Williams on a rookie contract, and then you have this talent that you believe could be an MVP several times. Like, I'm going Caleb Williams. I'm sorry. There's a reason he was the Heisman Trophy winner, the first overall pick. To me, it's not even a hesitation, but I don't sleep on Jordan Love. This guy is an animal when it comes to making high moxie, confidence, cojones. What do you call him? What's the word? Stones. He's got the stones to make those throws. Lamar is a choke and will get booted. Oh, so you think the Ravens in that category, huh? Okay, I could see it. Would you consider putting Steelers in contenders? Nasty defense, new head coach, and OC. Because of the new head coach in McCarthy, OC, I'm not quite ready to put the Steelers immediately as a contender. I can't do that just quite yet. Seeing, I still have my reservations and about them right now. Guys on TikTok, can you hear me? Are we currently a little bit laggy? I'm not sure. Caleb Williams could be on the cover. Watson, get you, Chris Collinsworth undercover or something. Okay, good to hear it, Alex. Good to see you in here. Thank you for respecting the opinion. Alex, yeah, we're good. Alex, what do you think about the list? Let me know. And Alex, make sure that you are following my guy. Great to see you here. Denver will be back. That's the expectation. Joseph Hamlin, make sure you're following everybody on YouTube. All 80 of you, great individuals. Some of you guys are not subscribed. Please make sure that you go do so right now. Go hit the subscribe button. Football content every single day. During this season, we will be live. It's going to be a much different format. I won't be as interactive. We're just going to be talking about the breakdowns going ahead into these games live, but it's going to be just like your typical show that you watch. We're going to break these games down live. We're fired up about next year, but it's 3 months away. Trying to get to 10K on TikTok, 10K on YouTube before the year starts. If you haven't already done so, go subscribe to the YouTube right now. Why do you have so many voice cracks, George Pickens? We've been live for 6 hours a day for the last week, so that's probably why. I've been going live every single day for pretty much like the last week for an extensive amount of time. If my voice is cracking, that is your answer. That's why. You got a good reminder though for me. I appreciate you. Oh man, that's a good. Even if my voice isn't cracking, I still gotta hydrate. That's a great reminder. Hold on, folks. Gotta down this water. My guy who called out the voice. Thank you so much. What does gifts do? I sent a bunch to you from ZIY Driver. Are you talking about on TikTok? What's going on? 3/4 Ace Outdoors. If you guys like that style of content, go check our guy out. I'm a Cowboys fan, so I'd personally put them over Panthers in my opinion, but that's just an opinion. Hey, Alex, I talked about it earlier that I'm fired up about what the Cowboys are going to be next year and the people that acknowledge their biases and can talk about it. Thank you for subscribing, 3/4 Ace Outdoors. Thank you so much. Oh, ZIY Driver, no, I sent the gifts on YouTube. Oh, you're talking about, I think they're called rubies or Oh, I appreciate you. I think they add up to cents. Like if it's 200 rubies, I think they're cents. And I get like 70%, something a percentage of the cent. So thank you so much for the gifts. But our guy, Cowboys fan, 72 hours till Jawan. Arthur AJ. Josh the Great is 3. I love you calling out the name. Our guy. Alex, make sure that you are following here on TikTok. What's going on, Alex? Michael Aragon. Go Broncos. Yep, we have them quite high up here on the list, Michael. We are very excited about what they will be next year. They have now one of the more talented receivers in football. You are exactly right, Michael. This is a team I envy you getting to root for a team that was able to turn it around that quickly. My guy, Michael, make sure you are following here on TikTok. Sertan Glazer. Okay. He really didn't know you're wrong from Seth Weisinger or Wisinger. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong. Bengals will win the AFC North. Okay. Michael, appreciate the follow. Thank you. Let me know what you think about the list. What would you change? I got no problem with the disagreement. Bro, Brady won with the Bucks. He did. 7 Super Bowls to Tom Brady in his career. Mahomes had Tyreek Hill. Oh, do we have a Brady versus Mahomes debate? I'm sorry to whoever has Mahomes in that opinion. Tom Brady beat Patrick Mahomes in his prime twice. He beat him in the AFC title game. He beat him in the Super Bowl. So unless Patrick Mahomes wins 8 Super Bowls, I don't think that there is a debate that Patrick Mahomes will be better than Brady until at least he gets to 7 with that talent. He beat him. He was 2-0 in the biggest of games, the title game and the Super Bowl. I don't think you need to go further than that unless Mahomes has the freaking ammunition of a ton of Super Bowls to be in the debate. Maybe 6, 3 more gets him there, but if he's at 5, even so, I look at the comparison in that category. Like, people used to debate about what was his name? I'm forgetting about who was the Pistons player? Isaiah. Gosh, no. What am I forgetting about what his name was? Isaiah from Pistons. I'm forgetting. Isaiah Thomas. Remember Isaiah Thomas? Thank you, Sir Tangley. So Isaiah Thomas and Michael Jordan, there was a debate because the Bulls could not get past him. They couldn't get past him. Jordan got a little bit of help, right? Dennis Rodman's there, Scottie Pippen, right? They had Steve Kerr. Dennis Rodman was the biggest part of why they were able to now compete with Lambeer, right? To compete with the physicality that the Pistons had. But Michael won 6 freaking titles. He was undefeated. That he never even saw an elimination game against him in the finals. He won 5 games in game 6 and won 1 game in game 5. So Michael Jordan dismantled that debate once he was able to win that many. But Isaiah Thomas for a while was winning that debate because of the head-to-head, but simply because Michael had that level, and then the championships, the MVPs. It wasn't even a debate at that stage. And now people talk about LeBron. This isn't a basketball debate, but MJ was 6-0 in finals. LeBron can be the GOAT. You can say Michael Jordan. I never got to see Michael Jordan play at his level, so I can't speak to that. I got no issues if you say LeBron, you say Michael Jordan. I just think that you should not have an opinion that LeBron is better than Michael Jordan if you never got to see Michael play, because you didn't see it in front of your eyes, so you're biased. You didn't see Michael play and know what his effect was, right? I know we're talking about basketball. This is a football show, but I'm relating it back to the conversations about football. If we're going to debate Mahomes and Brady, well, if you didn't see Brady play his first 10 years, you're 15 years old or 20, you've only seen Mahomes, like, you're a little bit biased, right? So that's why I talk about bias a lot, folks. That's why I ask you guys what team you root for, who your allegiance is. It just helps me understand you a little bit more. I'm not saying it's a negative. You can root for whoever you want, college, NFL. You can be a North Dakota State fan. You know what I mean? But there's been good talent that have come out of there. Yeah, I watched MJ. There you go. So you got that opinion. TikTok hell. Make sure you're following Archie Blue with the Go Broncos. Make sure you're following my guy. How are the Chargers not a playoff locked in? We still make the playoffs look Quanto shifty. I'm with you. I've got Justin Herbert winning the MVP, my guy. I have the Chargers going to the AFC title game next year, Quanto. I'm as high as the Chargers can be. I'm a Chargers season ticket holder. So I'm high on the Chargers. The only question is, though, for me, I got to see it first, what they look like the first month, and then we elevate them into the top 5. If Alt is healthy, if Slater's healthy, McConkey and Thompson, and Isidore looks good, then we'll put the Chargers up there. My man Quanto Shifty, make sure that you are following. Great to have you here. Leo Gutierrez, I have the Broncos as Super Bowl or bust because I think they're good. But Leo, I got to admit, there's a tad bit of a bribery situation that happened here. We've got a YouTube subscriber named Sertan Glazer that made a donation that influenced them going up a little bit. I am a small creator looking to get larger and larger. I know that could have affected it, but that is a part, Leo, of why we have them there. If that helps answer your question, I'm sure it does. That's right. That is Sertan Glazer on YouTube. There he is. Leo, make sure that you're following Mason24. Commanders are contenders if Jaden's healthy. And our guy Terry McLaurin, Antonio Williams are impacts next year to a high level. I agree with you. Crazy Dave, where are the Panthers at on this list? Crazy Dave, they're right there in the contenders category. They're up there very high on their defense. It's up to Bryce Young. Are they truly going to be a team that competes and wins multiple playoff games? Bryce Young, it's in his hands. My guy Crazy Dave, make sure that you are following. Archie Blue, thank you for the follow. Cause Miami are that bad. Archie Blue. Currently, that's why they are there. Crazy Dave, thank you for the follow. What do we got? Cowboys are too high. Okay, I can understand it. So you think the Cowboys are too high because we're talking about paper right now, but lost in a wild card round. You really think that they should be playoffs? Playoffs? They can't even win a game. With the ode to Jim Mora. Jim Mora is what, like 91, 92 years old now? One of the legends of our sport, Jim Mora. Oh, I can see them now. It was blended in well. I got you, Crazy Dave. Somebody made a joke about Carolina on the graphic earlier that I don't fully want to repeat about why you can't see them, but it got a laugh out of me. I shouldn't have laughed, but we got of why Carolina is a little bit hard to see on this list right now. If you can think hard about it, you can probably, Dave, get there. Niners are not a playoff lock from Roberto. I can see why you'd say that, right? Maybe you don't have a lot of confidence in Purdy. They lost Mike Evans. But when McCaffrey's on the field, he's as impactful as any offensive player that's not a quarterback. And with all of those guys that were hurt a year ago, I got to just help it feel that they're going to get there if they have all of that talent retained. I know they play a tougher schedule, but I have them getting there as long as they get those guys back and they look the same. That is the assumption there. So my guy Roberto Hernandez, make sure you're following. No, Ben Johnson. No, I don't think so. HA. Ben Johnson is going to be on a different level. That dude's a mad scientist. Dallas is winning the division and going far, Roberto. I'm expecting them to be 9-8 next year, Roberto. And for them to go far in the playoffs, it's up to their defense. I mean, I see them being a top 5 offense once again, scoring close to, 28, 30 points a game? Why wouldn't they? I fully agree with you, Roberto. They're going to be really good. It's just up to whether or not defensively they can stack up. So if they score 30 points a game and they give up only 22, that's how you see a 12-5 team. Why did Joshua, you said that the Bears are a little bit low? I see the retracted message here, but you think that they're a little bit low? That they should be a playoff lock? I did see the message. I saw it before you took it away. It's all good. No worries. Even if you're not a Bears fan, or even if they're saying they're too low, I'm a Bears fan, and I've got them in the contenders category. So no worries. All good. Okay, the Bears are not lower. The Bears are better. They should stay where they are because they have a good defense. Yeah, they lost key players, but look at got so many young players and an MVP potentially. Please put the Bears up one, Wyatt. Even as a diehard fan, I can't do it unless we had a donation for the Bears. It would be too biased. If I had the Bears in that category and people coming in here asking me what my team is and I said the Bears, we would probably lose some sense of credibility. But if we did have a bribe, a donation, we would put the Bears up in that spot. This show is somewhat influenced by the chat. It absolutely is influenced, but that's what it would take, even as a Bears fan. Um, yeah, Bear Dad, there you go, Miski. And guys, if you have not subscribed on YouTube, take a second, go look if you're subscribed right now, and go hit subscribe in the platform of the YouTube for the people on the platform of TikTok. If you have not followed, go do that right now, guys. Football content every single day. We're looking to build this and grow. You guys have been unbelievable. Bear down, yeah, they be down back. I'm a Dolphins fan from Reedy. The Panthers rider. I'm sorry you can't see it. They're in the contenders category. Rider. Are you a Carolina fan? Rider. I've got them up high. I feel like what's up, Jacob? Good to see you. They I feel like with Bryce Young, he plays well next year. They're going to be really good defensively. Have them as a top 8. They could be a top 5 defense next season. Had a really good draft. There now. Put them up, please, from Wyatt. Wyatt, thank you so much for the super chat, Wyatt. I what do we got now here? Crazy Dave, thank you. Aaron Rodgers winning the Super Bowl his last year. Wyatt, we can on the next stream we can try it. We will put them. We will make a graphic adjustment. We will put them there to start, but I'm also going to keep this exact same graphic for the first hour. If it is there's too much conversation and it's going poorly, I will have to bring them down, but I will make an adjustment. Thank you so much for the donation, Wyatt. I appreciate you a lot. Yo, did you see the Madden cover? No, I did not. But we'll put them up there to that category for at least an hour. I believe we're going to be live this afternoon. I'm going to go out and change it, and we'll also have the same graphic ready to roll. If the first hour the chatter's bad, we'll be going back to it. But you have influenced this process now. You have the power now, my guy Wyatt. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. What do we got here? Herbert taking us to the promised land from Mayan Warrior J. Herbert taking us to the promised land. Look, I've got him being the MVP next year. Big Brad, it's Caleb. That's exactly right. It is Caleb. Herbert, Mayan Warrior J, make sure you're following. Wait, Caleb's on the Madden cover? That's the leak? Are you serious? What? That's unbelievable. Nuts. Real quick, my thoughts on the Seahawks. I am very high on the Seattle Seahawks. Nuts. This is a team that currently has momentum. They may have lost Walker. I'm a big fan of Jadarian Price. There's a lot of people that didn't watch him at Notre Dame. We watched him at Notre Dame. We had a blast seeing this guy come in and have big runs. Good contact balance. His vision at times can be a little wonky. Jadarian Price, I'm one to judge. My vision's wonky too. but if we're talking football, the Madden curse, yeah, with the Madden curse, I don't fully believe in, but it kind of is not real. We've had guys have success even win it. WSN Nick 76, thank you for following. Thank you so much for that feedback there and for following WSSN. Nuts, make sure that you are following. I can't say your whole name. I just can't do it, my guy, but make sure you're following here. What do we got here? Mayan Warrior, thank you for the follow. What do we got? Steph Foosh, Bengals making a Super Bowl run. What do we got? Jeffrey Dixon, what's good to see you, Jeff? Jeff, we've been here 2 hours. I think we got about another hour to go, and then we're going to take a little bit of a break, maybe get a workout in, move around a little bit. We've been standing in place for 2 hours here, and we're going to go another hour right now. What's up, Jeff? How you doing? Are the Niners healthy? I'm just hoping to hear no update that Fred Warner's progress is being hampered by anything. What do we got? Thank you for the like, Kyle Manunga, connoisseur. Great. Kyle Manunga with the Bears first down. Bear down, Chicago. Anyone seen that video? Have you guys all seen that circulation? and it influenced, like the chat here, it can be influenced. The Bears now have input that into their stadium. When Kyle Monengai gets a first down, they play that similar to the non-Singonia from thank you for the repost, Kyle Monengai connoisseur. They put it in the stadium. It is unbelievably fun. Let's see. What do we got? YouTube. Kittle will probably not be back to start the year. Is that the update? Wait, are you talking about Mykel Williams? Wait, Malik. Malik had 5 surgeries on that knee. Wait, are you talking about Malik Neighbors, right? Because Mykel Williams, it was an ACL, wasn't it, Jeff? Neighbor. No, but what about Mykel Williams? Malik Neighbors. Deflategate happened. Yes, it did. Okay, Mykel was an ACL. Gotcha. I gotcha. Let's see. I have awoken Kyle Monengai connoisseur. Good to see you awake, Kyle Monengai. Look, it's 12:35 on the West Coast. He's still not jogging Mykel. Well, so you're telling me Kittle and Mykel Williams won't be ready at the start of next year? At the beginning of the season, Jeff? That's the update? Man, that's not positive. It's not. Man, Kittle maybe. Okay. Oh, man, I'm disappointed to hear that a little bit, to be honest with you. Or a lot. Thanks for putting the Patriots at playoff locks. Mykel, no way. Okay. Because personally, I think it's pretty fair, because also I really like the team my dad does, and they have pretty good chance this year. From Cork241. Cork, I don't know if I've seen you before. Here, Cork241. If you haven't done so, make sure you're subscribed, Cork. Look, if they add A.J. Brown, you're looking at a Super Bowl contender through and through once again. But even not, I've been saying this to everybody. The Patriots are starting off the year being 3-1 or 4-0 because they played the Dolphins and the Jets twice. So let's say they go 3-1, they go 4-2 in the division. They just got to go 500, and they're going to be in the playoffs going 10-7, right? Thank you for the subscribe. Appreciate you, Cork. Colton Lane, thank you for the follow. Jordan, first overall is the Titans, second Ravens, third overall is the Chiefs. Are we talking about at the top of your power rankings, Jordan? I like the creativity, my man. Jordan, make sure that you are following. Good to have you here. What is Bob saying? Colton, what's he saying that you don't like? Patriots are going back to the Super Bowl. It's tough. I mean, I don't know what the statistic is. Teams that have lost the Super Bowl, that have returned to the Super Bowl, I believe it's something like 8 out of 60. I know that 18 or somewhere at 17, 19 have missed, but it's only, I want to say, in single digits team that have gotten back to make it. Dolphins really gave a backup quarterback 67, Mel Reed. But that backup quarterback could be throwing the football to number 4 at Ohio State next year, though. Huh? If they're bad enough, this could be a big brain move. We could ensure the possibility we bring in the best college football player in 20 years. Oh, the draft. Wow, you are low on the Ravens next year and the Chiefs. Personally, Jordan, I think the league is praying that the Chiefs don't get a top 3 pick and they pair Patrick Mahomes with Smith at Ohio State. I believe that could be I don't even have words. If Patrick Mahomes gets to throw the football to Smith, it might be over. NFL might be done for the next half decade, Jordan. So, Jordan, New Jersey, somebody in the moderation, make sure you're muting that. We can't have that, New Jersey. Thank you, Sir Tanglazer, for being on that. But, Jordan, I like it. I like it potentially if it happens. It would be fun. But just know, if the Ravens have a top 3 pick, they could get Colin Simmons and add that guy next to Hendrickson. Or the Chiefs could get Jeremiah Smith. So, be careful what you wish for. Maybe for 1 year, the Chiefs or the Ravens suck. But then they get an unbelievable talent in there. All right, Sertan Glazer. I'll see you, my man. We will be back a little bit later. We'll be here for about another hour. Then we'll hop off. But thank you so much. As always, my guy, great to have you. Jordan, make sure you are following if you have not done so. Panthers are not contenders with Bryce Young. Burgos, I gotta tell you right now, Burgos. Do you have a cousin named Ryan Burgos, or is that your last name? Because I knew a kid in high school, a good friend of mine named Ryan Burgos. I'm curious if you know somebody that. But to your point, Burgos, look, Bryce Young, you are absolutely right to question him going into next year. And the reason they are currently there is because of the influence of outside funds, a donation that put me in the position to put the Panthers to contenders from playoffs. So Burgos built. Make sure that you're following. My guy, great to have you here. Whatever it takes films. Giants front office had Dart and Carter. They brought in New York former players to chat with the team. Whatever it takes. I'm very happy that they are immediately getting on this situation, not letting it spread and potentially be what's the anti of catalyst? Like a virus? Hold on. I'm going to look up the word. Opposite of catalyst. In chemistry, an inhibitor or negative catalyst. A hindrance, a deterrent, an obstacle. All right, so the opposite of that is what could be happening there right now. Burgos built. Thank you. No, man, not part of my family, but who knows? Might be. That's how it works. You never know from the way last names go. Dart screwed up with that, Marty. I like the way that they've handled it, though. They're sticking together as a team. To be honest with you, I have no comments because I keep politics out of this. This is a football show, and I'm going to retain that. So if you want me to give opinions on stuff outside of that, I apologize. I'm not going to get into it off the field, though, Marty. But what I am happy to see is that they rallied together. They're keeping things within the team, and they're trying to correct potential problems there, Marty. So if you're looking for some statement on me politically, I'm not going to make one, and I really hope I never get to that position where I do wind up involving that into this show, because it's going to retain its football blue blood kind of ties. The community wants to hear football talk, not red versus blue. But Marty, if you like football talk, make sure that you're following my guy. Great to see you. War behind my name. Good to see you back. What is going on? What do you think Malik will do in Miami? Can I answer that question after this year to see if they add a really good weapon to him? Low-key, feel like the Cardinals. I think that Miami is going to have success with Malik if they give him 2 years. Why? Because if they're not good this year, they can add a Cam Coleman. They can bring in an amazing edge defender. They can bring in another kid that grew up in the 305. That's what I believe Miami could do. First, for sure, Miami, Maddie. Thank you for being on in here. What is it? Madeline M. Spam ACC4. Where are you from? What do you think about the power rankings? I'm curious. Besides Miami, what you agree with there, Maddie. And Maddie, make sure you're following Marty Fultz. Make sure you are following. But big time Dolphins fan. There you go. It's good to see it, and that you guys are still out here keeping aware that you're not just hiding in the shadows until it's a more positive time for the Dolphins, that you're still outwardly supporting your squad. Thank you for the follow, Maddie. I think Miami won't be good, but I hope Malik has a rather decent year. I like that. He's a good kid. I agree with you. I was disappointed. He played well against Chicago, then got hurt in overtime. Played well against Baltimore, then got hurt in that game. So maybe a little bit concerned if he can stay healthy in Miami. But the Dolphins are in a fun position where it's like we can have success with Malik. All right, he is our guy. Let's add to this team next year. Or we're really bad this year. In the 2027 NFL draft, the Miami Dolphins select a pretty darn good football player. They get the chance at one of 6 blue chips. I like your rankings, but I feel like the Patriots might be like, the Commanders, okay, I like that take. They could regress a little bit. A tougher schedule. They do play the Dolphins and the Jets twice. Respect to our Dolphins fan here. What's up, Dino? T-Rev? Dino_T_Rev. What's going on? We've got the Panthers in that contenders category. The only thing is they've got like a 3-1 record to start the year, which means the other 13 games, if they just go 7-6, right around 500, they can make the playoffs. But what if they go worse than that? It's your opinion, right? So if they don't hit that, I love Allen17. What's going on? Great to see you. Some people I get in the chat at least a dozen times a day that I look like Josh Allen. And it's an ongoing joke here with the Blitz with Blender community. Great to see you. I love Allen. I love Josh Allen too. How can you not? That guy's an unbelievable talent. Make sure you're following I love Allen17. Ethan, Patriots aren't getting 10 wins. Maybe that the offensive line hasn't gotten better. Seth, the Dolphins are going to suck. You think Willis has no one to throw to. That's why I'm like, if they do suck, okay, go bring in Jeremiah Smith. That's been my thoughts on them. Thank you for sharing the live, Crazy Dave. I appreciate you. Bills move up. So you believe the Bills should be in the Super Bowl or bust category. Do you think the Saints are a sleeper team? Oh, yeah. Are you kidding me? New Orleans Saints are the definition of a sleeper. Crazy Dave, thank you so much for that, man. Look, I'm just trying to build this one day at a time, grinds, and we're trying to do this every day. I don't have a job in marketing or real estate or software somewhere. It's just football every single day and one day at a time. Confidently, believing in yourself that you have a passion for something and taking the criticism and taking it positively and improving, hopefully, over time enough to do this. It's our year. Let's go Broncos. And then Mason says, I'm rooting for the Broncos in the same way that John is. You guys probably like where the rankings are. Great to have you guys here. John, as well as Mason, guys, what do you see here? I see the Steelers barely making divisional round. John, make sure you're following Mason. So, but barely making divisional round. So you think that this category is correct where we have them, right, Mason? How the Titans stop Derrick Henry on this other side of the team, Ravens team. Could we stop Derrick Henry with our defense, Cooper? There's a kid named Keldrick Falk now on the Titans. That's right. His name is Faulk. From my understanding, that's how you pronounce him. Alicia, no worries. Thank you so much for being in here. Hope to see you later on today. But Anthony Hill Jr. of Keldrick Falk, in them they trust right now. J4M3S, make sure you are following. Thanks for being in here. Thank you for the follow, Sands. Thank you so much. Bro lives and breathes football. Look, you might agree with the takes. I'm sure there's a lot of stuff I say that people kind of don't agree with. It's what happens. No one's going to agree with everyone on everything. But what I do know is if you're in here in May, then you're a big fan of this sport. You're a diehard if you're in here in May chatting football and you're in here for a long enough time, timeless. So that's what's fun about this. Obviously, there's things that I'm going to be wrong about, but the idea is to bring people together. I'm trying to build a football community of people with like minds. So much of this sport is negative. You see a comment section and people go at each other when I truly believe if a lot of those people came together, they would actually be friends. They would like each other. And it's honestly sad to see social media take it apart. So my goal, my mission of what I'm trying to do with my community, my presence on social media is to bring people together. Look, we're going to disagree. Families have major disagreements all the time, but we do share this passion and a love for this thing that runs a big part of our lives. And we can come together and have a good time and a fun time. That's what we're trying to do here. If you have not subscribed on YouTube, folks, please make sure that you do that right now. 127 of you, 144 in the chat right now here on YouTube. That is amazing. I cannot wait to get to the season. It cannot get here soon enough. It's competition, only a select few. Take it too far. Not gonna lie. That's exactly right. What's up? Good to see you. How we doing? Road to 100K 61. How you doing? Let me know what you think of the rankings that we got right now rolling. Bears are playoff locks. I'd 100% be willing to explain. EHY and Z. Let's get you on as a guest. Request to join. Let's get you here. Yamaha Boy 110. What's up? How you doing? Absolutely. We'll give you a shout out. There you go. But EHY and Z, are you coming on? Is that a request? We got I-Man requesting. What do you got, I-Man? What's going on? You got 30 seconds. What's going on with the Bills?
I was thinking with the Bills, everyone they've signed, they've been on 1-year contracts, like D. Alford, CJ Gardner-Johnson. So if you're talking situationally, they're Super Bowl or bust. Because if they don't win Super Bowl, then all those guys have been useless, and it's kind of not. Most of their offseason hasn't been of much use.
I got you. And they had a big draft. So what's funny about this? Can you see my screen right now? I don't know if you can. My laptop is. Can you see that? Wait, hold up. Can you see that?
I can.
Can you see where I have the Bills? Can you see where I have the Bills?
Yeah.
So that is my next graphic that I have made. So it's funny you say that because I'm going to be putting the Bills there in my next live because I've heard enough and I've said it a lot that like this show is interactive, that you guys kind of run the show and I make my rankings a little different based on feedback. So I'm going to be putting there next, even without you saying anything. We're going to be putting there in that category. So it's funny that you say that. And look who they just brought in. We're expecting Jalen Kilgore. Do you know about Jalen Kilgore? Yeah.
Kilgore,
that dude's a dog. Him and Eamon Wari were unbelievable at South Carolina. I think that his impact, I think he can compete for a role and be the next Jordan Poyer. That's what I've been saying.
Him and Bishop.
Yep.
Him and Gardner-Johnson.
Yeah, and then TJ Parker, like, I don't think he's going to have, like, a double-digit sack year, but I think he's a rotational guy that's going to come in, set the edge. You can use him on third down or on run downs, and he's going to be a good player for a long time.
And then alongside Bradley Chubb, too.
Yep. Yeah, I'm fired up about the Bills, and I'm right there with you, my man. We're gonna keep it rolling here, bro. But make sure that you're following. Thank you for sharing your thoughts.
All right, man. Have a good day.
Yeah, you too. All right, guys. We had a Bills advocate for why they should be in the Super Bowl or bust category. I thought that it was funny, and man, thank you for the follow. We've got it. We're gonna have the Bills in that category on our next live, as well as playoff locks. The Bills and the Bears are going to be higher. Like I've said, it's interactive. If I come on here and I keep putting out the same rankings, why is that fun? If you guys give your opinions, you give your takes. Alicia, what's up? Good to have you back. And I just don't change. Callan, what's up, Callan? Freddy22. Can always rely on my guy to be in here every single day, just about supporting. To finish my thought there, if I don't change things based off of the public feedback, then I'm not building on your guys' thoughts and respecting your opinions. And that's why this is ever evolving. We'll put the rankings, we'll adjust. And people don't like it, and it's a wide outpour, we'll have it. And I've heard Buffalo so many times, Super Bowl or bust, and I like their moves. Why not put them in that category, see how it goes for a day or two? Do they stay? Do they come down? We're going to keep rolling with the punches. So thank you so much, I-Man. And well said about the additions that they had with a guy like Bradley Chubb. I know that there's a cringe there for Miami Dolphins fans. They felt like him on that team. What year was that, 2022? When he tore his Achilles and he was having a great season. That's what I want to say. Caleb Williams is the Madam Cover athlete. I've heard it's a leak. Is that confirmed, though? I don't know if it is quite yet. Guys, we are at the 2-hour, 20-minute mark. So we're going to be here for another 2 hours. Still plenty of time to get to all of your opinions. We've had comments about the voice cracking at times. So I'm going to take a sip of water for about 15. We're going to chug some water so we can keep it rolling. Let's roll. Madden is real. The Madden curse is real. I don't want Caleb on the cover. I kind of believe in that stuff. What do we got? Notification. Unknown 52. Heck nah, Texans way better. notification. You can see where I got the Texans. I got them going to the Super Bowl next year in my predictions right now out of the AFC. Grew up a Bears fan, Ohio State. I know what good defense can do, even if you've got poor quarterback play. But with their weapons, bringing in David Montgomery next to Woody Marks, bringing in Keelan Rutledge from Georgia Tech, I'm fired up about what the Texans are going to be. And I think that they are the team in the AFC next year, led by the best defense in maybe 20 years. So notification, make sure you are following. And Andrew, you could disagree with that. I still think that the Jaguars are mighty darn talented. Andrew, make sure that you are following the Chargers contenders from Nesty. I would assume that are you a Broncos? Are you a Raiders fan? Or you just don't believe in Herbert? Let me know what your thoughts are. Do you really only do football, or do you do basketball? I really just mostly do football, Cork 241. Occasionally I'll give basketball takes. I've been keeping my eye on the OKC and Spurs. I know that game 5 is going to be on like 5 hours, 4.5 hours. We're going to have some tip off for game 7. Football in college. Yeah, we've been dialed in, and it's my favorite football. If I went on and talked a lot about basketball, it gets out of my depth in probably about an hour. And I just don't have the same passion for basketball that I do for football. Hot take, better than the Bengals? Okay. All right, Ethan. I like hot takes. Is it Ethan or Ethan? Actually, I don't know if I've ever had confirmation on that. Thank you for your hot take. Chase, 1-7, Bucks contender. We could see it. Opinions on Browns. I'm a Commander fan, but they have a chance. They do. This is one of the best Browns rosters I have ever seen in the middle of construction, and they're going to continue to get better. They did a job. Brad Holmes for Detroit has constructed a roster through the draft. And now Andrew Berry in Cleveland, you're seeing a little bit of a familiar mold there where they're building young talent through the draft. They just don't have their quarterback, though. So remember what the Lions did. They sent away Stafford for those 2 first-round picks and transformed them to the next level. Is there a trade for Cleveland where they send away Myles Garrett? Is it 2 first-round picks to a team where then they get their quarterback in the 2027 NFL draft and they utilize 2 other first-round picks to build a team that has a roster that can compete with anyone? That's one of my takes and one of my beliefs about Cleveland. Myles Garrett's been there for 8 years, 9 years. They haven't got it done with him. Send him away. Recoup the capital. Get cheaper. You don't have to pay him $40 million a season. And then you have your quarterback. You use the extra capital with that $40 million a season that's off your books. And then 2 first-round picks that you can leverage into talent. That is my take that I would like to see it. Can you accept it? Alex? What do you got, Alex? Let's get you on. What's going on, Alex?
I would probably change some stuff. Like the Lions, I'll probably put that as Super Bowl or bust.
So YouTube, he's saying Lions should be Super Bowl or bust. A lot of you guys know I've had them in that category. We moved them down a couple of days ago. All right, you got it, Alex?
Also, I think the Dolphins, they should go up like 1.
So to see it, to believe it, you think the Dolphins should be higher?
Yeah, I'd say Mr. Raiders. I can't see Chiefs. I can't see that.
You can or you can't? You don't like the Chiefs next year, or you do? Can't? Okay.
I can't see also the Bears or Ravens.
So the Chiefs, the Bears, the Ravens, you're low on. Who do you like that should be higher? That's like a contender category, though, Alex.
Like contender? That's like higher?
Like a team I've got that's like you think could win the Super Bowl next year that I'm not giving enough respect to.
Hear me out. The Texans.
You don't gotta get me. Alex, I appreciate you, my man. Thank you for being in here. I got the Texans going to the Super Bowl next year, so I agree fully with you, man. Will Anderson Jr. is that dude. He's insane. They're going to be one of the best defenses I think we've ever seen. So that's a good take, Alex. Thank you so much, man. Hope to see you on here future. Any final thoughts, or are you good?
Yeah, I'm good there.
All right, I got you. Thank you, Alex, so much. That was Alex for people on YouTube. saying the Houston Texans should be higher. We've got Indiana James. Let's see. Or is anyone requested? Is anyone requested to be live? How do I call Alicia? That would be through TikTok right now. So I don't know if you're following on TikTok. One quarterback I'd build around Daniel. I mean Josh Allen. It's not because I kind of look like you. You can't, unfortunately, Jeffrey, call through YouTube. They don't have the feature. Sadly, it's only through TikTok to call and chat through. But if you guys are on TikTok, I'll get you all in here. We'll hear all the voices of the OGs, Jeffrey, Kate, Jake, whoever wants to come on in. It's just through a request. People request to come on, and on TikTok, it's that feature, and we get everybody on in here. Let's see. Cash Jackson. I think Colts will be pretty good. I do, and to me, they were my number one team when they were 8-2. They made the trade for Sauce Gardner, and I thought they were just about the best team. What's up, Indiana? How you doing?
What's up?
Let me know what you're thinking. Good to have you.
Well, I just want to talk about my little hometown Colts over here just a little bit.
Okay.
Obviously, we are up and down as crap, but I think if somehow Daniel Jones's Achilles is miraculously recovered, I think we'll be pretty decent again. We started really well last year. Jonathan Taylor is still a beast.
Mm-hmm.
Tyler Warren is a beast.
Yeah, I love Tyler Warren. Yeah.
We're going to have to replace Michael Pittman, but I think Josh Downs is going to step up a little bit.
Yeah.
So I'm not really worried about the offense. It's more the defense that I'm worried about. We lost Zaire Franklin. We lost...
He's led the NFL in tackles over the last 5 years. A lot of people don't know
but he's
that.
A bum in pass coverage.
He is.
We're not going to miss him that much there.
Yeah.
I'm hopeful that C.J. Allen is going to be a good rookie linebacker for us.
I also love Halsey. He's that dude. I think can start right away.
We're excited about him
and
too.
my sleeper take. I don't know about this year, but I think Bryce Betcher eventually turns into like him and CJ in the middle of that defense. Like
Could be, yeah. Maybe Caden Curry does something on the defensive line.
Fun to see him and Tuimoloau out. A couple of Buckeyes there on that defense. Are you a Big Ten guy, or where are your allegiances?
Big Ten for sure. Indiana Hoosiers.
Woo! Congrats on the natty, my man. Let's go.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
But yeah, we're just hoping that our defense can carry us. We got Sauce Gardner, and hopefully Charvarius Ward can stay healthy.
I agree with you, Jeffrey Dixon. I agree with you with that.
That's a legit secondary right there.
Yeah, without a doubt. No, if your team, the first thing you said is true. If Daniel Jones is healthy, like they're back to where they were last year, which was near the top of the league. So it was devastating because you had a really tough loss, overtime to Kansas City. The next week got beat by Houston, and then 8-4 lost Daniel Jones in the first quarter, right, against the Jags.
Yes.
So, and then the rest of the schedule were like all really good teams, so it just fell apart there. But man, if he is back to that, I got a lot of faith that they're going to be competitive. Now the Texans to me are my pick to get to the Super Bowl next year. I just love defense. I grew up watching Big Ten, Chicago Bears, like NFC North, like football on the defensive side led, and the Super Bowl. Man. So that's where I've been at. So I'm with you. And it's kind of like Burrow, right? If you guarantee me the Bengals have a healthy Burrow, I've said it 100 times, right? You probably heard me. Like,
I agree.
It's similar to that. But obviously,
yes,
the North and the South are tough. All right, my man. Good to have you on. And
thanks, dude, for having me on.
Yeah, absolutely. We're gonna keep it rolling, and we'll be chatting throughout the off season, and then during the season, without a doubt, my man. So make sure you're following, and hopefully we'll get you on here and soon.
Yes, sir. Thank you, man.
Yeah, you got it. All right, folks. That was Indiana James. He is an Indiana Hoosiers fan. Thank you for the follow, my guy. How about the Indiana Hoosiers winning the national title last year? Historically, the worst team in the history of college football, and in 2 years with Curt Cignetti, they turn it around. He's also a Colts fan. Not just podcast or analyst. He's just a system quarterback. Nothing bad about that at all. What's wrong with that? Josh, how do we find you on TikTok? Jacob, on TikTok, it's just Blitz with Blender. Just look up Blitz with Blender. and you'll find me on TikTok. It's pretty easy nowadays if you don't have an account to create one. But no, I fully agree with what Indianapolis can be. Titans that low is crazy. It's tough in that division to imagine in the Titans this quickly rise. Like 7-10, a bad season for the Titans if they have doubling their win total, maybe even get to 7, and they add somebody in the draft that's in the top 12. They get an offensive tackle. Maybe it's Jordan Seaton. Maybe it's Gooseby. Maybe it's Austin Saravel. There's a lot of really good young tackles that are coming out in this draft that could get pushed down by the pile, because the expectation is you're looking at 4 quarterbacks in the top 10 for 2027. JMG Bison, Steelers and Ravens better than the Bengals. Well, right now they have higher floors, JMG. And what does the floor look like? The floor looks like in Indiana, Titans haven't beat the Colts in 2 years. I didn't look at that stat, but I'll take your word for it. Thank you for the input. That's why I love the community here helping me out. I'll have to say that Baltimore and Pittsburgh, we know what they are. And even if you have an injury to like Lamar, you had part of this, they still made the playoffs last year. Pittsburgh, even without Rodgers, they still got to the postseason. Cincinnati is so reliant on Burrow. Even with a healthy Burrow 2 years ago, they still missed the playoffs when he would have had like an MVP caliber year because they got better rosters than Cincinnati does. Right, JMG, are you following what I'm saying there, JMG Gibson? So that's why I have them higher. Look, Joe Burrow, when healthy, is the second best quarterback in football, but I have my concerns about him. And JMG Bison, make sure you're following. Eugene, okay, the Titans better than the Colts comment. We deep in the offseason from Cash Money. We are, my guy. But great to see you here. Make sure you're following, guys, on YouTube right now. Here's Ebron about the Cardinals. Make sure you're subscribed on YouTube. We are going to end the stream in about 30 minutes. So 30 more minutes. We're going to keep it rolling here. It's been a lot of fun interacting with everybody. We got to get a workout in. Got to eat. Got to stretch. We don't want to crash and fall here. And we're going to stop it. But we still got 30 minutes to discuss everything. If you haven't subscribed, go hit that subscribe button right now on YouTube. Jimmy, why do you have the Dolphins so low, Jimmy? I mean, it's because of their GM's interviews and everything I've heard about him talking about how they're rebuilding this team and the moves that they've made. Building from the foundation, gutting the roster, just like building up a new house. Like that's basically why, Jimmy. And the GM has just talked about the future instead of this current season. That's where I'm at right now, Jimmy. And too high on the Jets from New Regime. Lachlan, you got to move the Jets down. New Regime, make sure you're following Jimmy61760. Make sure you are following. Let's get you in here. What's up, Lachlan? Lachlan, what do we got? I think you got to move the Jets down.
Me personally, you got to move Jets down. I can't trust the Chargers. I like how they will play, but I can't trust them in the playoffs.
The Chargers? Okay, that's a valid take. You don't trust Herbert.
And you got to move one of the NFC North down. They can't all be contenders.
Well, they did have 3 NFC North teams make the playoffs 2 years ago. Remember, right? 14-3.
I do.
Minnesota, Packers got bounced by Philly in the wild card round, and then Detroit looked like a Super Bowl team. So I
think by contenders is probably making the Super Bowl.
So you don't think that the Lions could win the Super Bowl next year?
I think the Lions might go up.
What about the Packers?
I would move Packers down to losing the wild card round.
Okay. Now they've been the 7th seed in the NFC 3 straight years, Lachlan. So that's an interesting take there. I could give because they have lost in two wild card games the last 2 years. Micah's not healthy. They didn't have a first round pick. I love that.
And then I moved the Chiefs down just because Patrick Mahomes was expected to miss the first 5 weeks.
Yeah, that's the expectation right now. So if Justin Fields is in there, you would say that if they lose and have a slow start to the season, it's almost like it's too much of a handicap that they can't come back from it the rest of the year?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Lachlan, I love it, man. You got some ball knowledge. How old are you? 14?
About to be 13.
Okay, there we go. We got 12-year-old Lachlan. He's fired up about the upcoming NFL season. Thank you so much, man. We can tell that you are someone that's gonna have a lot of a bright future talking ball. I already hear some good points that I've made myself. So thank you for coming on and talking. We got a lot of people in here, and you spoke well. Thank you. All right, guys. That was Lachlan on TikTok, our 12-year-old legend, throwing down some good points. And this isn't Chicago Bears fan bias. We got a fan out here coming on in saying the Packers should be down, right? But he also said the Lions should be up in that category. Yes, ITEY Pro, I do remember you. Make sure not to spam ITEY Pro. New regime. Make sure that you are following. As an Eagles fan, I'm just worried about the Giants' progression. YouTube. What's young guns with ball knowledge? Lachlan getting a shout out from Jeffrey Dixon. I was impressed. I got to tell you, Ohio State has better wide receivers than everybody. My good friend played for the Jets. Daniel, who's your good friends? Let's get ITUI Pro on in here. What's up? Let's make sure the connection goes through. This is your mom's account. What's up, IT?
What's up?
How you doing? What do you got to say?
Texans should be better than the Patriots.
Texans should be better than the Patriots? I'm buying that take. Now, you got to understand why I have them there, right? Like, the Patriots did beat them in the playoffs last year, and I got to just respect that. They did make a couple of nice additions like Caleb Lomu and Gabe Akist. But, I got the Texans going to the Super Bowl, right, my guy?
All right.
Okay.
Wait, who do you think got the best defense?
The Texans. Not even close. Not even close. But one of the best defenses I've ever seen.
All right. But last time I was watching you live, I saw Broncos there in playoff locks.
They were. So we have been influenced by donations and bribes. We are a small account looking to grow. And we had a donation to put the Broncos up higher. A $10 super chat on YouTube got them into that category. So that is why they are there currently.
All right.
Yeah, there you go. All right, appreciate it, my man, coming in, hitting me with the hard question about why I got the Broncos there. Look, folks, I got to be honest here. We are trying to take in feedback from the folks that come through here. We're trying to engage with everybody, and I'll give you username. If you go to YouTube right now, Blitz with Blender, we will make it happen. We will make that decision. Username, it's Blitz with Blender on YouTube. If you make that decision, we'll hit you. We will change the graphic for the later stream. We will make it happen. If you mean what you say about that username, we will make it happen. Patriots have a losing record this year. We could absolutely see it. And my guy username 52729. Make sure that you are following. It's fun to have you in here, and I'm curious. You must be an Atlanta fan, but I like the confidence in your squad and the gumption. We'll see what winds up happening, but I'll update the graphic and I'll change it if you do hit YouTube and make that happen. What do you think about the Colts, Jet? We just had a conversation about the Colts. I think you just missed it. We have the Indianapolis Colts in a limbo right now, and that limbo is centered around their starting quarterback, Daniel Jones. I know it's simple to say, but if he's healthy next year and he's the same guy I saw last year, that's a playoff team. There's zero doubt about it. Moving around, Jonathan Taylor was unbelievable. There's no reason to think their offensive line will regress. Defensively, as long as DeForest Buckner is healthy, I love what they're going to be. So that's what I think about Indy. And it's not too different. I said the exact same thing about the Bengals. Like, if Burrow's healthy and the improvements they've made on D, like, that team's going to be a contender. Just like Indianapolis can be if they have a healthy Daniel Jones. Sasha LJ's Meals. Panthers love. You got it. You absolutely got it. And LJ's Meals, make sure that you are following. Great to have you here. But I want to keep the feed I'm on. Did you get all my takes? I'm just wondering. Yeah, honestly, a lot of them. That was me that called you. This is my mom's account. From which channel did you have there? I'm sorry, but Houston. Yeah, Houston we feel great about next year. So my bias, right? Why do I love Houston so much? They have a great defense and a question mark at quarterback. I grew up in a Bears fan, an Ohio State fan. So I know what good football looks like, even if the college to the NFL doesn't fully translate. But there's a level of good football. For Chicago, I've seen an atrocious offense with Rex Grossman turning the ball over 5 times on Monday night. And the Bears are who we thought they were. And we let them off the hook. Dennis Green, the late Dennis Green, in that speech, still win because of unbelievable defense. And so the Texans can get to the Super Bowl even with shitty offensive play. That's why I've got the Texans so high right now. Gerb, make sure you are following. George, I have the Steelers above the Bengals because their floor is higher. The Bengals ceiling is way higher than Pittsburgh's is if they have a healthy Burrow and the defense improves and they can run the ball better. They've been bottom 4 in rushing each of the last 4 years. They got to protect Burrow by playing better defense and running the football better. But Pittsburgh, last year, with an injury to Rodgers, still made the playoffs. The Ravens, even injuries to Lamar, missing part of the year, not playing healthy, got to the postseason. So Cincinnati, 2 years ago, with the healthy Burrow, still didn't get to the playoffs. So, George, that's a big part of it. I hope that answers your question. And, George, make sure that you are following. Appreciate you. Yeah, in a little bit. Yeah, I think like 20 minutes, and then I'll walk a little bit later. New regime. Pittsburgh needs to implode this year and rebuild. 9-7 is the worst. I think I'm going to end it in like 20 minutes, and then we'll do it. Just more risk factors. We could see it. Joey Ruiz, thank you for following. Did you scold me for commenting without, was that a scold, Jerb? Did I scold you? What did I scold you about? Joey, thank you for the follow. Doublish, I appreciate that. No, Jerb, you said Houston ? Wait, do you not like Houston? I thought that you did like Houston, or you just wanted my take on him. I hope it didn't come off like a scolding. I'm just trying to talk with passion. That's all it is. If it sounds like a scolding, I hope that's not how it comes off. Kevin, I'd put the Lions as Super Bowl or bust. Kevin, I had them in playoff locks and brought them down just a little bit because of public sentiment. Sentiment means feeling. It means what your beliefs are. That's what sentiment is. Like in real estate, I heard that seem a million times. Like the sentiment about the public is I'm not certain about the current financial situations. I don't really want to invest in a building. I don't want to buy an apartment building because I don't know if it's going to be a lucrative investment for me. So that's sentiment. The sentiment that has been surrounding the Lions was a little negative about where I put them there. So Kevin, make sure you are following. Good to have you here. What do we got? What do we got here? Jerb, are you still in the chat? Let's talk about whatever you want to talk about, Jerb. If you've got a take on somebody, let's have a conversation. I got nothing against taking criticism. What's up, Nico Collins in the chat? How we doing? Good to see you back. How can you not put the Panthers in playoff locks? They are stacked this offseason, Mason. Bryce Young, I hope that that's not like too simple of an answer, but also hope it is simple about why I believe they're in that category. Because would you put $100 right now that Bryce Young like is the guy that you fully believe in him? Or any amount of money? You're going to guarantee me that Bryce is going to be even better next year and be consistent? Because that's all it is. I love their defense, and I still have questions about Bryce. And Jeffrey, you've heard me say it 1,000 times. Jeffrey, I apologize. And Nico, like I've said the same arguments a lot. We repeat ourselves a lot for new people that come here, but it's the same thing that you roll out with. That's why I'm excited about. I'm still here, lol. Like that's why I'm excited about this season happening, because this part of the year it's a little bit repetitive in what we go over. And that's why I'm excited to get to different rankings, college, and get to fantasy rankings and switch it up a little bit. But during the year, it's a new show. It's a new set of, preview predictions every single week. So, Jeffrey, looking forward to the season starting. But the engagement is really fun. Like I said, Jeff, I'm going to miss you guys and talking to you guys like throughout the live, because when we're in season, it's just going to be me talking to the camera and going through the breakdown preview prediction for the most part of it. The GOAT, Bengals hire. Yeah, we can talk Seattle Seahawks. What about Seattle? Where do we want to go? Defense, D-line, offensive line, the division, the totality of what they are. I love where they are. Good to see you back, Indiana James. The GOAT 2.0. Bengals hire. Who they nation? Who they going to beat them Bengals? So, Cincinnati. Anyone have DJ Turner as a potential top 5 corner in the league next year? If he continues to play that level of football, and this guy goes against Jamar Chase and T. Higgins in practice every day, people are like, DJ Turner, like, who? I'm like, the guy that had 17 passes defense last year, that guy? He goes against 2 of the best in the league, so that's why you get better. That's why I also talk about LSU defensive backs like Mansour Delane, Ohio State defensive backs, of why they get so much better and they get to the league and they're like, I have some confidence in Denzel Ward, right? Denzel Burke could become the starter there because they go up against the best in the league every single day in practice. So Devin Sanchez, Jermaine Matthews, Davison Igbinosun, some of these more recent guys that have gone up against Carnell Tate, Jeremiah Smith, Emeka Abuka in practice every day. I'm like, if they've seen the highest level, like, these guys could be pretty good. They've seen that level of competition every day in practice. Explain why the Panthers are in contenders. To me, it's the worst division in football. They got to the playoffs a year ago. I know it was by a means of a tiebreaker. I think they improved a lot defensively, adding in Lloyd. They've solidified that. They add a pass rusher that could be double-digit in sacks. I did. You were Lachlan, Alicia. I like what you were saying as Lachlan. Oh, I didn't know that you were Lachlan there in the chat. Good to see you. What's up, Lava? Alicia, you should have let me know that you were Alicia, or your mom's account in the chat. I'm just gonna call. I'm gonna try and remember that. I'm gonna call you Lachlan. I'm gonna call you Lachlan here on YouTube if I can remember to continuously put that in. Everybody on YouTube right now, make sure and look to see that you are subscribed. If you are not, go rectify that. Go change that right now and go make that adjustment. Toot back in the chat. So Tatario Davis could go crazy too. Tatario Davis has as high a ceiling as anyone except for Mansour Delane. I don't see him being that level of a player. But Tatario could wind up being the second best cornerback in this draft. Like Chris Johnson, Colton Hood, Brandon Cisse, these guys are very talented. Jermod McCoy in that category as well. Like, he might have a ceiling that's higher than Mansour Delane, the only guy in this class. But I love Davis, and a lot of value for where they took him. Dolphins can make wild card if they try enough. Trust from Seabass. All right, I'll trust you, Seabass. Let's see it. Make sure you're following Seabass. Yep, Jackpot Jimmy. That's why we got him there. Hopefully you like what we got. Jackpot Jimmy, make sure you are following. Let's see. There are no way you don't have the Eagles in playoff locks. Did you see the personnel they have from true Philly fan? Look, it's the Eagles division to lose. They have been the standard in, you could say, the conference over the last 5 years, and their division for a while now. Back for the third time, you might as well give me a mod bro for war behind my name. We could, man. We could. We've got people that have been here for a long time. We've got OGs, but we've got moderators on YouTube, but none really on TikTok. I haven't put them in there, so we're behind my name. You keep showing up, and I guess we'll have to add you in as one, as a responsibility and appreciation for you. Look, true Philly fan, I'm a trenches guy. I'm through and through a trenches guy. That's why I love the Broncos. That's why I love the Rams. That's why I love Seattle. The Texans, right? New England, their trenches bad on offense last year, but they're trying to improve that. True Philly fan. I'm worried about Lane Johnson on the right side. They didn't draft a tackle early in this class, so that's why I've got them as a contender in this category. So my man, True Philly fan, make sure you're following Bill, Panthers delusion. Bill, is it Bryce Young you just don't believe in? Is that mainly it? Law Dog, I'm back. Is today we move up the Bucks. Law Dog, we could. It's possible that we could. We had a donation earlier that will move up the Chicago Bears. We would move up the Bucks with one as well. There is an influence, as you know, Law Dog, to this stream. We are a country that takes bribes, and I could put them up in that category of contenders, but I just know how the public sentiment would be around Tampa Bay. So in protecting the stream and a little bit myself, unless we get a donation, we're going to keep them where Tampa Bay is right now, because people have agreed for almost everyone coming in where the Bucks still are. There's a lot of questions surrounding them, whereas people have been negative about the Panthers, but a lot of people have understood it. The Cincinnati Bengals are where they are because Joe Burrow has been hurt in half of the seasons he's played in the NFL. They've been bottom 4 in rushing the football for 4 straight seasons. If you can't run the football, you don't play good defense, you can't protect your quarterback. It's been an element to it. Now they improved their defense. Now we expect them to run the football better. They have the best wide receiver duo I can basically ever remember. It's up to Burrow. If Burrow is healthy, they're one of the best 5 teams in football next year, I would think. But I don't know. His body and what he's been. Chase Brown had 1,000 yards this year, but still, if you look at the statistics, go right now to team total rushing yards. I'll go there right with you. Let's go right now. Cincinnati Bengals team. Let's go to total rushing yards on offense. Okay, Bills 1, Baltimore 2, Chicago 3. And the Cincinnati Bengals, 4th last in the NFL. 93.6 rushing yards a game. What about 2024 for Cincinnati? Is this statistic right? They've actually been bottom 4 each of the they were 3rd worst actually in 2024, 92.6. Let's go back to 2023 in rushing yards a game, because it can't be true. 3rd least amount of rushing yards. The Bengals were the 2nd least amount of rushing yards in football in 2023 also. What about 2022? It can't be right, a statistic that I just brought up. The Bengals were also 4th worst in the NFL in rush yards a game in 2022 as well. What about 2021, the year that they made the Super Bowl? What about that year? They were not in the top half of the league. They were like 23rd, but they made the Super Bowl and they had a little bit better productivity on the ground, the GOAT 2.0. So I'm not trying to scold nobody or point things out, but that's what I'm talking about with Cincinnati and where they're at and why we currently have them there. You just made our point from Loves That. Yeah, my man Loves That. Make sure you are following. Bill Kirk, make sure you're following. If Burrow's healthy, you're contenders. Yes, that's exactly right, Loves That, my guy. Make sure that you're following. Hopefully that wasn't so long-winded and annoying. I don't want to be annoying, guys, but I wanted to make a point about Cincinnati. Sometimes I list facts and people are like, wait, is that true? In this exact case, I kind of just wanted to go through it. And look, 32, 31, 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23. When they were the 23rd rushing offense in the NFL, they got to the Super Bowl. All they got to do is not be bottom 8, and it looks like they can be a Super Bowl team. Help Burrow out just a little bit, and they can get themselves there. And the offensive line, still questions there, but a healthy Burrow means a healthy season. What do we got here? Scary Terry, oh yeah. Go Bears from Papa Grow. Everyone on YouTube right now, make sure that you are subscribed. This year, the GOAT? Are you asking about last year's rushing yards or going ahead? What's the question there? I agree, the Jaguars, yep, there you go. Ball to the Shebanu. There you go. Wes, we just went through Cincinnati. Look, they're there because the rushing offense has been bad. With my football experience, to tell you my bias and why I have certain feelings about teams, when I was in college and I spent my time in the meeting rooms with the offensive coordinator, with the defensive coordinator in college, every single meeting they talked about the need to run the football. Wide receiver coach, he said, if you don't block, you're not getting the ball. I don't care how talented you are. On defense, if we can't stop the run, we can't do anything. So that's why I have such an emphasis on teams that run the ball well, because it helps your quarterback. Ranked 7th best offensive line. Well, you would think that they would have ran the football better then, right? Last year. But again, Burrow wasn't healthy, so that data is a little bit skewed because no healthy Burrow. Ball to the Shabanu. Make sure that you are following Packer Harris Steelers in that category. They play good defense. Look, Jeremy Bernard. You know about Jeremy Bernard, Packer Harris? I bet you do. You've heard about this second-round pick out of Alabama. He is one of my hot takes to have more receiving yards than DK Metcalf last year. I know it's a hot take, but go look at Jordy Nelson coming out of Kansas State, and then go look up Jeremy Bernard at the combine. Jeremy Bernard's like an 8 pounds lighter, a little bit faster, a little bit quicker, more bursty version of Nelson, but very intelligent players. And I think Rodgers is already starting to fall in love a little bit with Jeremy Bernard. Even as a rookie, I know it's crazy, but I could see this kid going for 1,150 and 7 touchdowns next year. I think he's like Rodgers is Jordy Nelson. And make sure that you're following my guy, Parker Harris. I don't think I've seen you here before. It would be great to have you back. Come again. Jags will take it all. They had a great defense next year. Next year, they're just in a very tough division. It's talented, so we're hoping for it. I just don't get the Steelers over Bengals. I understood your Bengals take, but Steelers aren't better. Don't get the Steelers over. Well, they have a higher floor than Cincinnati, to me. Right? They made the playoffs even with Rodgers hurt a little bit last year. Baltimore with Lamar banged up, whereas the Bengals, they didn't. Right? Even with Burrow healthy 2 years ago. So what does that mean when you see teams make the postseason with their quarterback banged up? Right? They've got a better roster. The Ravens and the Steelers have better rosters than Cincinnati. Cincinnati's improved that. Like I've said, why Cincinnati is a Super Bowl contender with a healthy Burrow. There's no doubt. But it wasn't until this year they've improved it. Great to see you, Parker. Thank you for following. What do you think about Taj Brooks, Samaje Perine, and Chase Brown? It's a very deep core. And you're going to have, like, Cincinnati had some games, like Thursday night against Pittsburgh last year, where they ran the football all over them. They had bursts where there was insane. Like, the run game is there, but it wasn't consistent. And we're still going to have questions and pushback towards them until I see consistency. It's a lot like the Giants in their run defense. You've got these splash plays and these sacks, but consistently they haven't been good defending the run lately here. Let's see. My guy, Aiden Archibald. Chargers are Super Bowl contenders with a healthy outline. Aiden, I cannot disagree with you. I have Herbert winning the MVP because I'm counting on a healthy O-line. Alt and Slater, we've got them. Who do you think is the best player, best O-line player on Cincinnati? Who is the best of the bunch? Let me look at them right now. The best right now for Cincinnati? I have no one that comes to my mind. I'll be honest with you. The best of the group from the GOAT? Reisner, Fairchild. I can't give you an answer, even looking at their depth chart. The best offensive lineman that they have, Mims, I remember him in college. Fairchild, Reisner was undrafted. I'm looking at their depth chart right now, the GOAT, and I can't tell you who their best offensive lineman is. Probably Orlando Brown, obviously, and after that, maybe Fairchild. I don't know. I agree with the Texans from Parker Harris. I don't know. Okay, I agree with the Texans. But obviously Orlando Brown, it was great to bring him over. His dad is a generational offensive tackle prospect, and he was really good with Baltimore. And so bringing him in has obviously been huge from Kansas City. But outside of Brown, I still have questions about that O-line. But I think they should be good next year. Yep. Fairchild was was he a day 2 guy? The GOAT? He was a day 2 guy, right? I want to say either late 2nd or 3rd round, the GOAT. Do you remember? Steelers will have a better defense. Why do majority of analysts have the Bengals? Well, loves that. A lot of them have, yeah. Look at the schedule. But besides that, they know what Burrow is. He's the 2nd best quarterback in football when he's healthy. And he's the only guy that's been the kryptonite to Mahomes in those big game environments. All right, folks, we are at the 3-hour mark. We just passed it. If you're on YouTube right now, we are going to end the stream right now. Thank you so much for the support throughout it. We're going to be back live a little bit later. If you're on YouTube right now and you like football content, go hit the subscribe button right now. We are at 5,698 subscribers from Alicia. What are you talking? No, bye. Guys, get me to 5,700 right now on YouTube. We're at 5,698. We're going to end the stream right now. It has been 3 hours. The voice is still here. Jeffrey, I can't tell you yet. I got to see where the workout goes. I'm going to spend some time with my girlfriend, Kelly. And I'm kind of thinking about maybe going to the beach. It's a beautiful day here in Hermosa Beach. That'd be fun. But what are we? I'm going to refresh. We're at 5,699, folks. If you're on YouTube, you love football, please hit that subscribe button and do so right now. Can we put the Packers in the first to put disrespect on them? A lot of times, I would do that, and it works the same way. Donation, and we'll put the Packers in that category. But if people come on here, they learn that I'm a Bears fan, I have the Packers in that category, like, immediate loss of credibility. Immediate feeling that people are like, what? Why would I watch this? Like, why would I watch this stream if we're seeing that kind of a bias to the credibility? Guys on YouTube, Niners better be top tonight. Yeah, we're not. I don't think I'm gonna watch Game 7 tonight. I'm gonna come on here and talk more about football. I simply just am not a big basketball fan. No, please do another live tomorrow. We will be live tomorrow, the GOAT. And we will be live, I think, a little bit later in a few hours. We're going to go live. So, nice opinion, buddy. Carolina 2 tiers higher than the Bucks. And Nico, we had a donation of why the Panthers are in that category right now, Nico. We got a super chat that put the Panthers up 2 tiers right now. So exactly to your point, it's a loss of credibility, but the monetary compensation is able to equate to the loss of credibility, Nico. So that is why I put the Panthers in that category and why I put them there. If that answers, if that answers your question of why. This is this is a show that can be influenced. We do take bribes. I'm a small creator looking to make it and do this as a career. So I appreciate you guys. If you are on TikTok right now, make sure that you're following. Thank you for being in here. Jeffrey, I'm bringing my rich friends to influence the show. That would be incredible. We love bribes. We absolutely do. All right, folks, we're going to take off on TikTok. Make sure you're following. I will see everybody a bit later if you hop on to enjoy the live. Thank you. On YouTube, folks, I'm going to answer 3 more questions, and then we are going to hop off. What are we seeing? Have a good one. Thanks for the input. You got it? Absolutely. All right, Lava Times, thank you for being here. Anyone else? Any new first-timers being in here? We're going to hop off in the next 60 seconds. Just curious if I missed anyone's questions that we can get to right now. Any statements, any feedback that you just need someone to comment on, I'll give you before we get off the stream. Doesn't look like we got anything coming on in. Downloaded TikTok. I'll be able to spit Niner facts. Let's go, Jeffrey. Awesome. So get on TikTok, and you'll be able to hop in as a guest. That'll be fun. All right, folks. Doesn't look like there's anything else right now. I am going to... Can we put the Giants below? Because I don't believe they deserve it. We did have them in the See It to Believe It category a little bit earlier, so I'll consider that one. There's some intrigue there, actually, on my part. I'll think about that one. But guys, we're still at 5699 on YouTube. If you haven't subscribed, please do so that we can get to 5,700. That was our goal for the stream, and we're right there. But thank you so much. We're gonna hop off. I will see everybody a little bit later if you're gonna be back here. Thank you so much.